Happy holiday, my friends, and welcome to a special episode of Error Radio Podcast. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. This is a podcast dedicated in bringing you the best of horror and thriller, old-time radio broadcasts, as well as original stories. I'm your host, Keith, aka the Radio Show Nerd, and today I will be bringing you 5 hours of old-time radio episodes to celebrate the brand new year. We're going to start off with Clarissa from Quoet Please. Following that, Little Old Lady from Lights Out, Ghost Hunt from Suspense, The Demon Tree from Dark Fantasy, The Sea Phantom from the Hall of Fantasy, After Sunset from Nightfall, The Creeper from Murder at Midnight, The Scarlet Plague from Escape, The Devil's Workshop from Inner Sanctum, and we conclude with The Marble Knights from Beyond Midnight. Again, I want to wish you all a joyous and safe New Year's Eve. Please enjoy.
Quiet, please. The Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called Clarissa. No, he was dead before the fire started. I've told you that a dozen times. No, I can't prove it, of course not. You'll just have to believe me. Take my word for it. I can't prove he was dead. You can't prove he wasn't. And anyway, what difference does it make? Now, I'm sorry. I can't hear you very well. Yes. Well, all right. It was an old black shell of a house. A house that has lived too long. A house where the floors groaned in pain at night, where the windows shuddered at the gentlest touch of the wind, where door latches suddenly gave up their grip and let the night come sniffing into the house to paw at your eyes and wake you to the other silences that lay around you. It was never warm there. In the winter, old Heinz kept a fire going in the fireplace in the old sitting room, but the logs were scrawny and the draft was bad, and the flames seemed to grudge us their warmth so that we shivered all through the day. We're glad when night came and we could escape to the meager comfort of the drafty bedrooms. And in the summer, there was a dampness about the place. An unhealthy clamminess drifted from the walls and stirred uneasily among the ancient smells of decay that clung to the place. Well, I suppose you could call old Heinz a character. You said you didn't know him? An immigrant from the Rhineland sometime in the early 70s. That would make him, let me see, how old?
Ich war im Rheinland geboren, in der Jahrzeit 1862.
That's right, 1862. He was an old man, but he never appeared old. You might have taken him for a vigorous man of 60. His hair and his scraggly mustache were jet black. I suspect he dyed them regularly. And his blue eyes seemed as keen as those of a boy of 18. And he'd never been away from the house for a single night, he used to say, from the day he bought it and moved into it in 1888. And it was an old house then. Yes, I spent some very dreary days and nights in that house. place, you know. Well, yes, of course, I'd heard it was haunted before I went there to live. Do you believe in haunted houses? No. Neither did I, of course. Well, I agree, it did look like a haunted house. I've told you about the sounds in the night. I've told you about some of the sounds in the night. Yes, of course, there were other sounds. Well, please, let me tell it my own way. Well, Clarissa, for instance. Clarissa in particular. Clarissa above everything else. I had lived there nearly a year. Heinz and I sat that first night alongside the fireplace. I remember he'd asked me to share a bottle of Ben Custer Doctor with him. We sat in front of the stingy little fire. And there was a kerosene lamp on the table, and Heinz in his old black coat with the sleeves that were too short.
You like the wine then, Jesse?
Yeah, very much. Very much.
I have not much left. This is from before the war when it was easier to get, you see. But now, well, it is almost very last.
You shouldn't be so generous with it, Heinz.
Oh, no. Good wine always schmeckt besser when with a friend you drink it, nicht wahr? A little more?
Not for a moment, thanks.
Yes, to sit by the fire and look down into the coals and see images of the things past. And drink wine and see the images grow clearer. It is good in the old age.
You've lived here alone for a long time?
Yeah, for a long time. Long time. I'm used to it. Used to the nights and the little fire and the silences.
Yes.
It is cold for this time of the year.
Listen.
What's the rose?
Oh, I thought I heard someone singing.
So?
Did you hear anything?
It is Clarissa.
What did you say?
Clarissa, my daughter.
Well, I didn't know you had a daughter, Heinz.
Yes. Is there more wine?
No, thanks. I haven't seen her around.
No.
Well, is she... Excuse me, Heinz.
You will forgive me, Jesse. She's a child. I do not wish you to be bothered.
Why, she wouldn't bother me, Heinz. I like children.
There's enough left here in the bottle for one more for each of us, huh?
Thank you, Heinz.
Yes? Schlaf wohl.
And I drank the last of the wine with the old man. And then I climbed the creaking stairs to the dreary little room, carrying the kerosene lamp in one hand and casting fabulous shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Seeing the ancient plush-covered rocking chair nodding away at me as I entered the room. As if a startled occupant had suddenly deserted it at the sound of my footsteps on the stairs. And the cold spring rain drenching the window panes. And the murmured complaints of the beams and rafters of the old house. The pleasant, musty fumes of the wine I had drunk kept sleep away for a while when I blown out the lamp. And the melody of that children's song flowed again across my mind as I lay there. My thoughts wandered to the lonely child that dwelt in the haunted house with the old man and the newcome student. I smiled to myself as I thought, now that settles the question of the house being haunted, doesn't it? People have heard the little girl singing to herself in the night. They've not known that a little girl lived here, too. And, well, that's the ghost. And I smiled again at superstitions. And another idle thought struck me. I wondered at the child's age. 10 or 12 years old by the sound of her voice. And somewhere in the back of my drowsy mind, I seem to remember that Heinz had told me Helena, his wife, had died... When was it the year of the San Francisco earthquake? Well, that would be 1906. That would be 42 years ago. And this was a child of 10 or 12. I must have been mistaken. I was getting sleepy. The wine, the rain, the dark. Well, you wanted the whole story. I'm telling it to you. In the morning, Heinz was working in his garden, and the early sun made the old house seem a little more cheerful, a little more livable. There was a tinge of green through the gray of the fields that surround the house, and Heinz told me he'd seen a robin. I stood and watched him a long time, and I don't think he noticed how my eyes wandered to the windows of the old house, searching for a flash of color that might be a child's hair ribbon, or how I listened for the sound of a young voice singing a little song the children who danced so long ago on the bridges of Avignon. I didn't even notice that I was humming a song under my breath.
Clarissa's song, eh?
What? Oh.
Well, that's Clarissa's song.
That kid used to sing it when I was young.
Yeah, my wife is French. She taught the song to Clarissa.
Oh?
Yeah, it is an old song.
How old is your daughter, Heinz?
Eh?
How old?
Oh, she's young.
Is she pretty?
Oh, yeah. Your breakfast?
Coffee. I found it on the stove.
Clarissa made it.
Oh, did she?
You'd better go to work now, huh?
Yes, I suppose so. You don't need to keep the little girl outside on my account, Heinz. I like children.
Oh, she bother you.
Oh, no, I've got a little sister back home.
Oh, yeah?
Miriam. She's 11.
Clarissa is older.
Oh? Miriam's got bright yellow hair.
Clarissa has dark hair.
Yeah, I got a picture of her here.
Oh, so? She's very pretty. I have no picture of Clarissa.
No, that's too bad.
Well, I'll see you tonight, huh?
Yes? Yeah, sure, Heinz. I should have let the thing drop then and there. If the old man felt that children should be kept away from adults, that was his privilege, of course. And although I was often lonely for other company than the old man, I was a dweller in his house, and naturally subject to his wishes. My work? No, I never left the place. My book? Well, I was writing a book. No, not very exciting. Mathematics. I have some theories. No, the book is gone. The fire, you remember? I could understand Heinz. I thought he obviously had a great respect for a man's work, especially a work of such apparent erudition. I must not be disturbed. I might stay in my room day and night with my slide rules and my profile paper and my broken flower pot full of sharpened pencils. I was not to be disturbed. But how many times I wished for the happy sound of my little sister Miriam's gay laughter. I found myself listening for the lilt of the little girl's song that she used to sing, and that Clarissa knew, too. Heinz mentioned Clarissa occasionally.
I sometimes wish that I could have sent Clarissa to school, Jesse.
Well, it's too bad you didn't.
Always there was never enough money.
Why, there are schools. Public schools, Heinz.
No, not for Clarissa's free schools.
You know, I wonder.
Wonder?
Well, children are supposed to go to school. I'm surprised that the school authorities haven't been to see about sending her.
The police?
Oh, no, not the police. But there are laws about schools. I mean, you might find yourself in trouble if they discover you have a daughter of school age.
They will come here.
Well, if they find out.
Jesse, you will not tell.
Now, look here, Heinz. You're not being fair to the child.
Yes.
No, really, I mean it. Hasn't she ever been to school?
Well, I teach her a little.
Well, Heinz, it's none of my business. But you're doing her a very serious harm.
No, listen, Jesse. You don't tell anybody about her.
Well, I don't know, Heinz. If they come and ask me...
Jesse, listen. I tell you something.
Well?
Clarissa can't go to school.
Well, why not? I told you it doesn't cost anything.
It is not that.
Well, then?
She's not well.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, Heinz. Look, would you like it if I gave her a little of my time and taught her some of the elementary...
No, please, don't.
I'd be glad to.
No.
Well, have it your way, Heinz. I don't mean to intrude on your affairs, but after all, a child...
I'm sorry, Jesse. I thank you, but no.
All right. Forget it. But I couldn't forget it. A kindly old man. Yes, he was kindly. And a sick child who had never seen the inside of a schoolroom, who was growing up to become, well, what? In an ancient, moldering house, a house that had lived too long. Alone with a father born 86 years ago. Alone at night in the darkness with the house grumbling and complaining around me. I thought about the plight of the child. Sometimes I could hear her song far away somewhere in the dank recesses of that crumbling house. And my thoughts revolved again about this mystery. Heinz said she was not well. Heinz would not allow her to appear. Was Clarissa some misshapen monster child that she must be pent up and never see the sun? Was she... I detest mysteries of that kind. I love the good, clean mysteries of abscissa and ordinate, the logarithm and antilogarithm, of the calculus and the grand old theorems devised by the ancients. But the fascinating mysteries of the human mind and of human behavior are alien to me. Them I hate. And my thoughts crept further and further away from the 10 numbers as doubt and speculation about the child laid hold of my mind. The other night, how often I heard her sobs, I thought, sometimes close outside my door. And yet when I opened the door, there was nothing. And old Heinz grew more and more taciturn. He never spoke of his daughter. He seemed to avoid me by day and to disappear by night. But the summer came then, and the fall, and winter. My book was going badly, and my thoughts wandered. I must leave this place, I thought. I'll find out this mystery. And again I asked the old man if there was not something I might do for this pathetic child, this invisible, haunting voice.
No, Jesse. There is nothing you could do.
But Christmas is coming, Heinz. What can I get her for Christmas?
No, why not, Jesse?
What?
My Helene. She died on the eve of Christmas.
Well, but Heinz, you owe it to the child.
No. Let us not speak of it again.
But to me, the thought of Christmas passing by this child was unspeakable. I determined that if the old man would do nothing about it, I would. You know, I had little money, and there was so little I could do. But I did come into the town here, and I found a toy for her. I found one I could afford. A little woolly lamb. A little woolly white lamb with black buttons for eyes and a blue silk ribbon about its neck and a gay little blue flower in its mouth. I hung a little card about its neck that said, Merry Christmas to Clarissa. And on Christmas Eve, Heinz and I shared the last bottle of Ben Costa Doctor before the miserly little fire. And I gave him one of the handkerchiefs my little sister Miriam had sent me, and he gave me an old stone krug with a heavy pewter top that he said came from Heidelberg. And we regretted that there was no creamy Pilsner Urquell to drink from it. Wished each other a happy Christmas. And then, in the night, I was awakened by a tiny sound. And I lay awake silently for a moment. And there was another sound. A hesitant little footstep. rustling at the dresser across the room from me. And I lay quietly and listened. Is that you, Clarissa? Is that you, Clarissa? Do you like it? Good. Happy Christmas. I'm sorry that's all I could get you. But I hope you like it. And I felt the touch of a tiny hand on my shoulder. And lips brushed my cheek. And the door closed. And the sound of her voice in the little song was happier now than I'd ever heard it. And so I knew at last that Clarissa was not a ghost, but a living person. And I felt more at peace with myself as I realized that this was what had been plucking at the corners of my mind. And I was happy now that I knew she really lived, but I was not living in the midst of fantasy. I had wondered what Heinz would say. He was perfectly natural about it.
It was good of you, Jesse.
Good? What?
To find a gift for Clarissa.
Oh, did you like it?
Ah.
Well, I'm glad.
She asked me to say Dankeschön to you.
Then I say, bitteschön.
It is good. You're a kind person, Jesse.
I wish it could have been more.
Oh, it is a very rich gift. Never has she had such a thing.
Is she going to have Christmas dinner with us, Heinz?
No.
So, I had won a little victory in this conflict with the darkness. But I was to go no further. I asked Heinz about her. Heinz answered shortly. I suggested that a birthday gift might be in order if I only knew her birthday. I proposed writing to her own sister and begging her for outworn storybooks that Clarissa might read, even if she must stay aloof from the rest of the house. Heinz did not reply. Everything was as it had always been, so long as the name of Clarissa was not mentioned. But when it came in the late spring, when it was cold and windy again, and the raw snow pelted against the windows and the whole house shivered, I heard her crying again in the night. And there was a quality in her voice this time that brought me out of the bed and into the hall. I called in alarm. Clarissa! I stepped back into my room and lit the kerosene lamp. And as I stepped out again toward the hallway, Heinz confronted me.
What's my hunting, Jesse?
Why, can't you hear her, Heinz? Something's wrong. She's sick.
No, go back by your room, Jesse.
Oh, but Heinz...
Don't beat me, Jesse. Go back.
Now, Heinz, listen to me. Something's awfully wrong with that child, and
I will take care of her, Jesse.
Please, Heinz.
In your room.
Now, see here,
I take care of my own, mein Herr. Fine.
I reached for the door at once, but it was locked from the outside. And I beat on it and stormed at it in the cold. But for once it held. I screamed at the father, threatening every kind of vengeance on him, till at last I suddenly realized that I was being hysterically silly. In the silence, I could hear nothing but the moan of the wind around the rusty cornices of the house and the hiss of snowflakes against the window. And I sat down, shaken, bitter at myself for giving way to such an outburst over a child's crying in the night. And at last I lay down again, and in the frosty silence of the early dawn, I fell asleep. And when I awoke, hours later, and found my door unlocked again, Heinz to be found. Not that day, nor the next. I tramped through the house, opening doors, calling him, calling Clarissa. There was not a sound to answer me. I found a little wood and made a miserable fire. I suppose I ate. I don't remember any too well. And at night I went to bed to lie shivering for hours, straining my ears for a sound. The sound of a child's song. The sound of a father's footstep in the cold darkness. And it was morning, nearly morning. Gray fingers of morning plucking at the frost-rimed windows. And I awoke to see Hines standing beside my bed. In the 2 days, he seemed to have aged 20 years. He was an old, old man. He spoke to me.
Jesse, my friend.
What's the matter, Hines?
No much matter, Jesse. I am dying.
Hines!
It is finished now, Jesse. Anders is flowable.
Well, here, sit down.
No. Hear me. See, the key to Clarissa's room. You take it.
Oh, is she all right? Hines!
Too late for me now. Go. Clarissa's room. Do what is to be done.
I lifted him to the bed. I bent over him. I listened for his heart. There was no sound. Heinz was dead. Yes, just as I told you before, he died. He died there in my room, yes. What? Oh, yes. In the little half-light, I found the kerosene lamp and I lit it. I took the key from the floor where he dropped it. No. I found the room very easily. It was at the far end of the hall. I called. Clarissa? Clarissa? And there was no answer. So I unlocked the door. And holding the light above my head, I walked over to the bed. And there, lying on the bed, dressed in a pinafore that might have come out of the 10-year-old drawing in Alice in Wonderland, clutching a little woolly lamb to her breast, there lay a tiny, old woman with long white hair braided into pigtails. Clarissa. And I knew why I hadn't heard the little song for 2 days. And so when the lamp dropped out of my hand and the flames started licking around the dry as dust draperies and the fragile old oaken boards on the floor, I turned and went out of the house. Well, what else was there to do? The house had lived too long. And so had the father and daughter who dwelt there.
Quiet Please for tonight was called Clarissa. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Heinz was played by Bruno Vick. Clarissa by Peggy Stanley. As usual, music for Quiet Please is by Albert Berman. Now a word from our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
The characters in tonight's Quiet Please are neither living nor dead. They enjoy neither of these interesting conditions because they're solely the invention of my own imagination, intended to represent nobody at all. Quiet Please for next week is called 13 and 8.
And so until next week at the same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Quiet Please comes to you from New York. This is the world's largest network serving more than 450 radio stations, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Ironized Yeast presents Lights Out. Everybody. It is later than you think. Lights Out brings you stories of the supernatural and the supernormal, dramatizing the fantasies and the mysteries of the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginative plays, we urge you calmly but sincerely to turn off your radio now.
This is Arch Obler. Tonight, a strange story about ordinary people. Two girls just like you or your daughter or the girl who works next to you in the office. But first, Frank Martin.
Worried because you're underweight and frazzled out? Miserable because you lack the pep and strength and energy you need these busy days? Well, cheer up. Very possibly you simply need more vitamin B1 and iron than you're getting from your food. And pleasant little ironized yeast tablets supply both of these vital substances. They've been of amazing benefit to thousands with these deficiencies. Gains of glorious new pep and strength and needed pounds within just a few short weeks are nothing unusual. That's right, ironized yeast tablets. And now, lights out. Everybody.
Alice, do you think we're still in the United States?
I'm beginning to doubt it.
Are you sure you got the right address?
Of course.
Well, don't be so dogmatic. You have made mistakes.
Sounds as if you're starting to get annoyed.
Well, I am. We've been driving so long, my back feels as if somebody were doing a big apple on it.
Oh, we'll be there soon enough.
You know, Alice, sometimes that calm nature of yours makes me good and tired.
You sound as if you want to quarrel.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that, well, I looked forward to this vacation for weeks, and now that it's happening, well, it isn't so much fun.
Oh, wait till you get to my Aunt Harriet's. You can curl up in the alfalfa and sleep for days.
Sleep. Oh, that's a lovely word. Just imagine sleeping as long as you want without having to worry about making an 8 o'clock class.
Perfect.
But are you sure you know where your Aunt Harriet lives?
I've run out of synonyms for her. Of course I do.
Oh, I just like to reassure myself. I certainly hope she has soft beds. Oh, and that reminds me, you did send her that letter that we're coming.
No.
Say that again?
No, I didn't send the letter.
You mean to say that she doesn't even know that we're coming to stay with her?
Well, I decided it'd be more fun if we sort of surprised her.
Well, of all the brainstorms, walking in on somebody you haven't seen for 10 years and expecting her to welcome you.
She's my only aunt, isn't she?
But maybe she won't have room for us.
Don't be silly. I told you Aunt Harriet lives alone and likes it.
Well, maybe she won't like it if we barge in on her.
Don't be silly. Of course we'll be welcome. From what I've heard, she's a little old darling.
When you were 8, she was a darling. For all you know, she's taken the welcome mat in years ago. Wait a minute. Didn't you say we were supposed to go down Camden Road 3 miles?
Yes.
Then you are lost. That sign back there, this isn't Camden Road.
You're silly.
I saw it with my own eyes. It said Pig Snackle Road.
Oh,
there, see that? Pig Snackle Road. You are wrong.
Pig Snackle Road. That's too good to be true.
Are you crazy, laughing at a name of a place when you haven't got any idea where you are and my back...
Don't be silly. I'm sure we'll find... Hey, there. There it is.
There's what? The edge of the world?
Oh, no, the crossroad. The entrance to Aunt Harriet's place ought to be just a little bit beyond it.
That's what you say.
Well, yes. There it is. Here we turn here. Turn.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you trying to do, turn over?
It won't be long now.
You're telling me. This is no road. It's a cow path.
Aunt Harriet likes privacy.
Oh.
I remember Dad and Mother used to say that.
Another 100 feet on this road, and I won't need a bed. I'll need a stretcher. Come on, slow down. I knew it. What a road. Even the tires couldn't take it.
What do we care? Aunt Harriet's place just a little ways down. We'll walk.
You mean leave the car right here in the middle of the road?
It's Aunt Harriet's own private road. No one will bother it. Oh, come on. Take your bag. Let's get out of here.
Oh, all right. I'm just a stooge.
Come on, let's go. We'll just be in time for dinner.
That's what you think.
What do you mean?
I mean, maybe your Aunt Harriet doesn't like guests who walk in just like that. Hey, Alice, now what are you stopping for?
Well, I just noticed.
Noticed what?
How dark it's getting.
So what? Come on. When the sun starts setting, it gets dark. I learned that in Physical Science 101.
Yeah, but back there on the road it was so light, and here it's so dark and gloomy.
What's the matter with you? Are you going to take your suitcase and come on, or are you going to stand there being afraid of the dark?
I'm all right.
So many trees around here. No wonder it's dark. If that Aunt Harriet of yours wants privacy, she sure got it. And I hope when we get there, I'll have the same...
Lona.
Now what?
Look at that mist coming up through the trees.
Yeah.
Like long, white, curling fingers.
Oh, stop that, will you? It's just that it's getting late. Colder. Moisture's condensing. Oh, will we ever get there? Riding and walking. Have you actually got an Aunt Harriet? Come on, let's go back.
Wait, Lona, there it is.
Huh? Hallelujah, it is a house. Well, it's about time. It's about time. Knock harder, Alice. Knock harder.
I can't. It hurts my knuckles.
Oh, let me.
She must be home. There's a light upstairs.
And you were going to surprise her, eh?
But she never leaves this place.
Oh, go on. You don't even know that she lives here. A fine business. Car with a flat, stuck in the middle of nowhere. Nobody home in this godforsaken place. Me so tired I could sleep standing on my head.
But she must be home.
You're repeating yourself. Oh, if this is a vacation...
Hey, wait a minute. Wait, there's someone at the door.
Oh, yes.
Yes? Oh, what do you want?
I'm looking for... are you Miss Saugus?
Yes. Oh, what do you want?
Well, then you are Aunt Harriet.
Hallelujah again.
Who's calling me Aunt Harriet? Oh, I say, who are you?
Well, I'm Alice Preston.
Harriet. Oh, yes, bless my soul. I know you. Come in.
Hallelujah, we're here.
Come in and close the door.
Oh, Aunt Harriet, you don't know how glad I am to see you. Did we have a time getting here?
Yes. Come right in here. Right in here.
There, Lona, I told you we'd be welcome.
She didn't even ask who I was.
Now, put your things down here and sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Thanks. Aunt Harriet, this is my girlfriend, Lona Stevens. We roomed together at the university, and I asked her to come along with me.
It's all right, my child. It's all right. Anyone's welcome. Anyone at all.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Aunt Harriet. I hope you won't mind my calling you that, but Alice always...
There, my child. It's all right. A name's a name. Now, sit here and be comfortable. I'll get some tea.
Oh, no, really, Aunt Harriet.
Wow. Apparently your Aunt Harriet does what she wants to do.
Doesn't she?
Oh, well, as long as we're here. Like something out of a museum, isn't it?
What?
The house, the furnishings. Look at the chairs and that sofa. Are they prehistoric or are they prehistoric?
Yeah, I didn't think she was so old.
Oh, you mean your aunt?
Yes.
Oh, well, after all, in 10 years, living alone out in this godforsaken place, I sort of think she's nice.
Do you?
Taking us right in and not asking us all sorts of silly questions. That's the kind of relative to have. You know, if I were to go barging in on any of mine, first they'd give me a 3rd degree on how come I was away from school, and then they'd give me another 3rd degree on how long I was going to stay.
Lona.
What's the matter?
Back there in the shadows. What is
I don't...
It's something moving.
Why, it's a dog.
Oh?
Why, no, it's a cat.
Cat? It is a cat.
Not a cat. Look at the size of it. Tiger.
Lona, what'll we do?
Don't move. If we do, it'll...
Now, here's your tea, young lady. Nice warm tea. Just what you need.
Aunt Harriet,
the matter? What? Oh, he's frightened you.
What is it?
You got eyes, haven't you?
Well, yes,
It's so
can't-
dark in that corner we can't hardly tell. It's not a tiger, is
Don't
it?
talk nonsense.
Oh, what is it?
He shouldn't be here at all. It's much too early for him.
Aunt Harriet, didn't you hear me? I asked you what it is.
Oh, what do you think he is?
Well,
It can't be a cat.
why, he's as big as a police
All
dog.
right. Come upstairs. I'll show you to your room. Now, this way. I'll show you to
Aunt
your room.
Harriet, I don't...
Come along. I say, now, come along up these stairs.
Come on, Alice.
Oh, why don't
Come
you?
on, we better do as she says.
All right.
You must be tired, you two. Sleep.
But, Aunt Harriet, how could it be a
Now,
cat
we'll
when
talk
we...
no more about it. Talk no more about it now. No. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning. In here, my dear. In here.
Come on, Alice.
But why doesn't she answer me?
There, you see. A very comfortable room for both of you to rest in. Nice wide bed. Everything clean.
But,
You'll
Aunt
get
Harriet,
a nice
wait
rest,
just a minute.
dear.
I want to find out something about
this.
this.
Forget it, Alice. Whatever it is, you can find out in the morning.
But that
Oh,
cat...
cat. Can't you say anything but cat?
It was so
Huge
huge.
nothing. Well, we just imagined it, that's all. I mean, there in the shadows it looked monstrous. You heard it. It sounded just like an ordinary tomcat.
But I
You
saw
didn't see any more than I saw, and I think it was just a long shadow that got us fooled, that's all.
Yes, that could be it. Yeah. Couldn't it?
Of course. You remember in Psych 101 class, old Pudgy Wudgy told us about the tricks your eyes play in bad light when it comes to judging size.
Yeah, I remember. Local signs, they call it.
Right. Well, that's the way it was with that cat. I'll bet you your Aunt Harriet thinks we're both a little screwy. That's why she got us up here to bed in a hurry. Oh, bed. Isn't that a wonderful word? And will we sleep?
I hope so.
Alice,
What?
you're not sleeping either, are you?
No. I wanted to talk to you for hours, but I wasn't sure.
I thought you were asleep.
Somehow I can't.
Me neither.
I can't understand why.
I'm the one who was crying how tired I was.
The bed's so comfortable.
The house is quiet enough.
The house.
Huh?
Maybe that's why we can't sleep.
What do you mean?
There's something about the house.
What?
Something oppressive that won't let us sleep.
Oh, you're crazy.
No, I'm not.
It's just that we're too tired to sleep, that's all. Yes, that's it. Too tired, nerves on edge.
No, I've been lying here for hours trying to figure it out. Now I know.
Will you stop talking like that?
Don't you feel it, Lona? Don't you?
Well, I...
Tell the truth, you do feel it. It's something heavy in the air, pressing down on us. I'm awfully frightened, Lona. Awfully.
Well, you're not going to frighten me. Why, this is your own Aunt Harriet's house. She's down there sleeping, and she... Oh!
That cat.
Yeah.
It sounds huge, doesn't it?
That's because it's so quiet in the house.
Lona, there's another one. I tell you, there's two of them. Lona, listen to them. They're not ordinary cats. Listen to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we leave our lights-out story of Little Old Lady for just a moment to accompany a young lady who's calling on a friend.
Hey, Sue, how about taking a walk? It's a wonderful day.
Not me. I'm too tired. I don't know where you get all your pep. I'm always tired. I'm losing weight. I can't sleep. What can be wrong with me?
Very possibly you simply need more vitamin B1 and iron. You see, when you don't get enough vitamin B1 from your food, you may lose your appetite, not eat all you need to keep your weight and strength up to par. And when you don't get enough iron from your food, you may be weak and pale and feel frazzled out.
But if I don't get enough of those things from my food, how can I get them?
Ironized yeast tablets supply both vitamin B1 and iron. Thus, ironized yeast helps two ways in these deficiencies. Helps you two ways to regain weight and pep and sparkle. So, if you need more vitamin B1 and iron, get ironized yeast tablets right away. Tonight. See if soon you aren't saying...
Talk about pep. I'm fairly bursting with it now I've regained this nice weight. My, but I'm glad I tried ironized yeast tablets.
And now back to our lights out story of Little Old Lady.
They can't be cats.
I'll call Aunt Harriet. She'll tell me. She'll make them stop.
Alex, wait. Don't go out there, you little fool.
Aunt Harriet, I've got
Get away from that door. Listen to those things down there. Listen to them.
No, I can't stand any more of it. Aunt Harriet, make them stop. Aunt Harriet!
They've gone.
What were they?
Could two cats make all that noise?
Aunt Harriet, why don't you come in here?
No, Alice, don't open that door.
But Aunt Harriet, why doesn't she answer me? She must know what it's all about. Why doesn't she?
Wait.
What?
Listen.
Someone's coming up the stairs.
Yes.
My Aunt Harriet?
It's not quite like footsteps.
The cat.
Maybe.
The door?
Cats can't open doors.
It's right outside the door.
I can hear, can't I?
Is it a cat?
Of course it is.
You don't think so either, do you?
It's just sitting there.
Yes.
Let it sit there.
I'm so afraid.
When morning comes, we'll get out of here.
Aunt Harriet, why don't you answer me?
Oh, stop that.
There's something outside of our door, Aunt Harriet. We don't know what it is.
What's the use of calling her? She won't answer you.
Why do you say that?
Because she hasn't answered us and she won't.
But she's in the house. She must know.
Wait. Trying to get in.
As long as the door's shut.
We're safe enough.
Aunt Harriet! Oh, please wake up, Aunt Harriet.
No!
What?
Look. Doorknob. It's turning.
Oh.
Alice. Cats can't open doors.
You mean Aunt Harriet? Yes, it must be Aunt Harriet.
She will, and she's trying to open the door. I'll open it for her.
No. Oh, no, Lorna, stay away from that door. I'm afraid. Oh, don't.
Come right in, Aunt Harriet.
Lorna, I've got to get help. I've got to. Oh, my arm. I can't stand pain. I've got to. Wood's so thick. I'm lost. And I've got to get help. Someone's got to help me. I'll get help for you, Lorna. I'll get the help. It's getting bright. It's dawn. If I could only find the path, the road,
She's tearing my clothes. Why do you tear my clothes? I just want to get help for Lona. I'll get help for you, Lona. I will. Road. An automobile. Help. Stop. You've got to stop. Help me. Please. Oh, help me. Oh, Lona.
Wait, sister. What's the matter?
Oh, please.
Who are you?
Help me. Come with me right now.
Now,
Please
take
don't
it easy.
talk.
Take it easy. I'll help you. Sure, I'll help
Must
you.
help me.
I'm
Hurry.
sheriff of this county.
Hurry, you must help me.
Now, wait a minute.
Please.
Are you with the girls who left that car on the side road back in the woods?
Car, yes. Yes, we left our car there.
Oh.
Hurry. Please help me. My friend Lona.
Joe, these
Oh,
are the
don't
girls.
talk,
We
please.
found your car in the woods, and we've been looking for you for hours.
Please don't stand there talking. Hurry. We've got to help her. It's killing her.
Killing her? Joe, did you hear what she said?
Don't talk. Hurry. Hurry and come with me. Please hurry. I beg of you.
All right. Now take it easy, sister. This is the house, ain't it?
Yes. Oh, yes, this is the place.
The old soldier's house. Yeah. Try the door, Joe.
Hurry.
It's
Push
open,
it.
Sheriff.
Push it.
Well, let's go.
She's upstairs. She's upstairs.
Nobody down here,
Not up here.
All right,
Oh,
let's
don't
get up
stand
there.
here.
I don't know what this is all about, but I'm soon going to find out.
Lona, we're coming for you. Lona, we're coming. Right.
Hey, what room is it, Sheriff?
Right here, that room. That room right there. Hurry. It's killing her.
Get your gun out, Joe.
Door's partly open.
Just
Okay,
go
kick
in,
it open.
Please.
Watch yourself. Careful, Joe.
Sheriff!
Sister, you stay here.
Lona.
Sheriff, there's nobody in this room.
Huh?
Look for yourself.
Please.
Well, now, what the...
Lona, where are you?
Now, wait a minute, sister. Are you sure that...
Yes, she was here. Right here. And it came in the door and jumped at her. I turned. I ran. I jumped out of the window.
Hey, this window ain't broke.
But I tell you, I went through it. See, my arm.
Yeah. But there's no one in here. The bed, why, it ain't even messed up. Did you say you two were sleeping, sister?
We were. Oh, Lona. Where are you? What has it done with you? Aunt Harriet.
Huh?
She'll know. Or has it killed her, too?
Sheriff, come quick, bring the girl.
Come along, sister. Joe, what is it?
Look in there.
Aunt Harriet.
Old lady sitting on the rocker and knitting.
Oh, Aunt Harriet. Lona, where is she? What happened? Oh, Aunt Harriet, please tell me.
Yeah, tell us all.
Might I ask what this is all about?
Aunt Harriet, what's the matter? Didn't you hear anything? Lona, that horrible cat thing. What did it do to her? Answer me. What did it do?
Would you gentlemen tell me who is this hysterical young girl?
Aunt Harriet.
Now, look here. Don't you know who this girl is?
Certainly do not.
But, Aunt Harriet, I'm Alice. I came here with Lona. Don't you remember?
You must be mistaken. I've been alone all night.
You hear that, Joe?
No, I was here. Lona and I did come here. It's a horrible joke. That's what it is. Aunt Harriet, please tell him you're just joking. Lona, where is she?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw you before in all my life.
No. Oh, no, that's not true, Aunt Harriet.
Now, wait a minute. I've had about enough of this out of you, sister. Chasing up here with all that bunkum about cats and killings and all that.
No. Everything
You better come along with us.
Everything I said to you was true. It was true.
Joe, take her other arm.
No, let go of me.
Come on now.
Please,
Don't
Aunt
raise
Harriet,
a fuss.
don't let them take me away.
Come
Those
on, sister.
horrible cat things. I tell you, there were two of them
Oh,
here.
come on.
Don't let them take me
Now,
away.
don't mind her, old lady. We'll take care of her.
Yes, take good care of her. Cracked little thing.
Now, come on, sister.
No. Wait. Look at her teeth as she laughs. Look at her teeth.
Mother in heaven, they're cat's teeth.
And the hands. They're claws.
No. Stay away from me.
Beverto, stop you!
Let me go.
Stop my
Let me go.
Calling my arm! Get her, Joe! She's getting away! Joe. Here.
Oh, Aunt Harriet.
Oh, she's no aunt of anything human. I can tell you that. Look at her.
But my Aunt Harriet Saugus.
Saugus? You hear that, Sheriff? Yeah. So you came here thinking she was Mrs. Saugus. Did you, girl?
Yes. Yes, Lona and I. And Lona must be dead now. How could my aunt do what she did? How could she?
This thing is no aunt of yours, child. Your Aunt Harriet Saugus died in this house 3 years ago. And she left 2 cats.
My dear Mr. Obler.
Oh, come, Frank. Don't tell me you don't believe tonight's story.
Should I?
Frank, did you ever hear of lycanthropy?
The who?
Lycanthropy. I was looking it up just then. That's why I didn't answer you. It's a form of illusion in which the person imagines he's a wolf.
Oh, yeah. Main Street's full of them.
Now, seriously. Only a handful of years ago, it was the firm belief of many people that certain human beings could turn into animals. But more of that in just a moment.
Friends, if more vitamin B1 and iron is all you need to help build yourself up, get ironized yeast tablets. Of course, there are cases where a rundown condition may be due to other causes. If in doubt, see your doctor. But if vitamin B1 and iron shortage is your trouble, remember, ironized yeast has been so successful in such cases that it's sold on this no-risk, money-back basis. If you don't begin to eat better, to look and feel stronger, peppier, and more alive, the cost of the first bottle will be refunded to you in full by ironized yeast, Box IY, Rahway, New Jersey. Now, Mr. Obler, what about those wolves? Do you think that people can turn into wolves
and poor fish? No. But under certain provocations, the human mind can certainly transform itself into many peculiar forms. Even we who are normal, haven't we met women who are catty, men who are brave as lions, and others who made you wonder whether they were men or mice? But even if you've had some doubt about people turning into animals, there's no doubt about what waste kitchen fats turn into. Oh, what a transition. But seriously, what every American wants is the news that Berlin has fallen, that the stars and stripes are flying over Tokyo. And ladies, you, Mrs. Johnson, wrote me last week, and you, Mrs. Stauffer, and all the rest of you. There is a vital part which only you can play in that final victory. Only you can furnish the kitchen fats which are needed so desperately to make explosives. Now, with the loss of most of our sources of supply in the Pacific, Uncle Sam must look to you for the fats our plants must have. You and only you can supply them. Now, you say you can't save enough to count now that meat and fats are rationed? Then listen to this.
As little as 1 tablespoon of fat a day amounts to a pound in a month. That pound of waste fat will send to Hitler and Hirohito with your compliments a half pound of dynamite, 10 rounds from an airplane cannon, 4 anti-aircraft shells. And mind you, the government doesn't want them until they're too dark or too strong for your further use. Then and only then, pour them into a smooth-edged can, sell them to your butcher, and within 3 weeks' time, they'll be in a munitions plant on their way to the fighting fronts to do their vital share for victory. Make your waste kitchen fats to your butcher the first thing tomorrow morning, so our boys can give your answer to the Japs and Nazis at the earliest possible moment.
Now, Frank, let's talk about next week's story. Next week, just an experiment, an entirely different type of lights-out story. An entirely different approach. There's love and a boy and a girl in it. Now, it's a story I did a very long time ago to a rather limited audience. And I know that you, 13 millions who listen to Lights Out, will enjoy The Ugliest Man in the World next week.
Yes, tune in next Tuesday again for Arch Obler's eerie story, The Ugliest Man in the World. And if you need more vitamin B1 and iron, be sure to try ironized yeast. But remember, there's only one ironized yeast. You'll know it instantly by the yellow and orange package and by the big letters IY on the container and on each tablet.
It's only the beginning of the white shoe season, but it's never too soon to start caring for your white shoes to keep them in good wearing condition. So clean your shoes with Energine Shoe White. It's made with the very whitest pigment obtainable, only the very whitest. It spreads over shoes evenly, dries easily, helps keep your shoes looking their whitest and best longer. So buy Energine Shoe White. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite brings you Mr. Ralph Edwards in Ghost Hunt, a suspense play produced and directed by Anton M. Leader.
Friends, replace worn-out narrow-gap spark plugs with a set of those new wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plugs. Your motor will idle smoother, give better performance on leaner gas mixtures, actually save gas. These winning benefits are all made possible by a newly developed Autolite 10,000-ohm resistor, built right into every Autolite resistor spark plug, making practical a wider spark gap setting, and that's what does the trick. What's more, Autolite resistor spark plugs with this exclusive Autolite resistor have greatly increased electrode life and cut down on radio and television interference. So, folks, see your Autolite dealer and have him replace old, worn-out, narrow-gap spark plugs with a set of the new Autolite resistor spark plugs. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And also remember, the Autolite Suspense show is now on television.
Every Tuesday night in many parts of the country.
And now, Autolite presents Ralph Edwards in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Yeah, didn't that leave you high, huh? Left me feeling treetop tall. That was Louis Armstrong's I Can't Give You Anything But Love. And that's all we have time for on the Hot and Mellow Hour tonight. Yes, this is Smiley Smith, your favorite disc jockey. I hope, booting the Hot and Mellow Hour home for this evening. I'll be back again tomorrow night, minus the music, but with a little surprise for you. Tomorrow night, Friday night, as you know, is stunt night here at station WXP, and have I got a stunt for you. Last week, if you remember, I planted my wire recorder in the steam room at a lady's Turkish bath and let you listen in on the playback, remember? Well, tonight, as soon as I leave the studio, do you know where I'm going? Your friend Smiley is going to spend the night in a haunted house on a spook hunt. You heard me, a spook hunt in a haunted house. I'm bringing a little old wire recorder along with me, and if you tune in tomorrow evening at this time, you'll learn what it's like to spend a night in a haunted house. Ain't that something? Yeah. A real haunted house. No kidding. 4 people are known to have committed suicide there. So tune in tomorrow night and share a real thrill with your old pal Smiley. I must be crazy, Smith. Good night.
Care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe? I got some cigars in the dash there.
No.
Well, no reason for you to carry a chip on your shoulder, Mr. Thorpe.
Oh, really? Well, I don't like this fool stunt.
Well, I don't see it as a fool stunt at all. I really don't. I think it's the only way you're going to unload this house. Ordinary selling methods won't work in a case like this. Now, don't forget the reputation saddling this house. 4 suicides since 1939. You know what people call it. The death trap.
Yes. A lot of nonsense.
Sure, but try to convince people of that. Anyway, when this disc jockey offered me this chance to kill all the rumors about the about the property, I just naturally jumped and took him up at it. Especially since it don't cost a cent.
You sure about that? I'm not liable for a penny.
Not a cent. We're doing him a favor letting him use the place, he said. Thanked me for the chance last night when I drove him out here. So one hand washes the other, as the feller says. He got a chance to pull off a stunt, and the wire recording will prove the people the property's A number 1, and we increase the chance of selling the place.
Well, as long as it doesn't cost me anything.
Not a thing. He's using his own recorder, and I'm paying for the rental of a couple of walkie-talkies he hooked up to it.
Well, what about this Reed? Does he charge anything?
He comes gratis, too. Dr. Reed is a psychic investigator. Belongs to a couple of societies that do nothing but hunt ghosts. He showed me articles he's written about it in their magazine. Well, here's the house. Yeah, looks real nice in the sunshine, don't it? Yeah, man, smell that sea breeze.
You don't have to sell me. Well, let them know we're here.
Yeah, probably asleep up all night and everything.
Why don't they come out? You think they've gone?
Well, I told them last night I'd pick them up around 11. Smith! Smith! Hey, Smiley! Dr. Reed! Yeah, fast asleep, I guess. We better go in and wake him up.
Of course, they may have taken the bus back to town.
No. It's a 2-mile hike, the main highway. Smith! Hey, Smiley. Where are you? Wake up.
You don't suppose, do you?
Oh, no. Smith. Dr. Reed.
What's that clicking noise from in there?
Well, it's his wire recorder. He left it running. These machines cost a lot of money. Doesn't he care if he uses up his batteries?
Well, where is he, and where's this Reed?
Maybe they're upstairs. Smith? Hey, anybody home?
They must have walked to the highway and taken the bus.
Well, he wouldn't have left his machine.
Well, where are they then? Where are they?
Now, don't get excited, Mr. Thorpe.
Don't tell me not to get excited. If something's happened to them in my house, I'm liable.
Well, you try this side. I'll try that.
All
right. Smith. Hey, Smiley.
Smith. Oh. McDonald, come here.
So what? What it? Oh, no. Reed. Dr. Reed. No, don't touch him, Mr. Thorpe. You'll get your hands off. Look.
What? Is he dead?
I can still feel his pulse. We better get him to hospital fast. Care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe?
No, thanks.
Oh, why not try to relax? The nurse said Reed would be all right as soon as he's had a blood transfusion.
You told the radio station to be sure and call us as soon as they had any word about Smith?
Yes, I told them. Why don't you sit down?
No, I'm all at 6s and 7s. What do you suppose happened out there last night?
We're going to know in just a second, just as soon as I can get this recorder set up.
You don't suppose Smith and Reed got into a fight, do you?
Yeah, there. Huh? A fight? I don't.
Well, what's wrong? Won't it work?
Yeah, it works. Take it easy.
1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
There.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. All set, Dr. Reed? Miss McDonald, eh? Okay, here we go. This is Smiley Smith speaking. Smiley Smith, the ghost hunter. I don't know whether to hope this will turn out to be a success for the sake of the program or a failure for my own sake. Anyway, all the preparations have been made now, and it's up to the spooks. I better tell you where we are. Right now, we're standing on the lawn of a house about 12 miles above Malibu Beach. The ocean is 100 feet away, straight down. The house is perched on a cliff, and there's a sheer drop of about 100 feet right into the old Pacific. Maybe you can hear the surf pounding. I'll turn up the volume. Hear it? Now, I'm going to have you meet two gentlemen who are here with me. Incidentally, we're the only people around for miles and miles. First, I'd like you to meet Dr. Clarence Reed of the British and American Psychical Research Guild. Dr. Reed is a famous investigator of psychic phenomena, and I'm very honored to be associated with him on this ghost hunt. He's smiling in an embarrassed sort of way.
You're much too kind, Mr. Smith.
Dr. Reed has conducted experiments in this field with such great believers in spiritualism as Oliver Lodge and Arthur Conan Doyle. He looks a bit like Santa Claus. He's short, stocky. You don't object, do you, Dr. Reed?
No, indeed.
And he has a magnificent white beard, a truly great beaver. Dr. Reed is so enthusiastic about ghost hunting that he got out of a sick bed this evening to be with us.
Excuse me. My lungs. Mm-hmm. I was gassed in the First World War.
Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Reed and I are here on the lawn looking at the house. Can't see much. It's around, 11 p.m. now. Seems to be a rambling sort of house, 2 stories high. Since it was built, there have been 4 suicides here. Is that right?
That's right.
Into the mic, please.
Oh, yeah. 4 suicides since 1939.
I better tell them who you are so they won't think you're a ghost. Standing with the doc and me is a real estate agent, Mr. Charles McDonald. He handles this property, and he can tell you a lot more about it than I can.
Well, the house was built by a man named Marcus, Toby Marcus, an orange grower. Built the house as a wedding present for his wife. A month after they moved in, she took her own life. On the day of her funeral, he committed suicide the same way. There have been 2 other cases since then, and
Did they all jump into the ocean?
Yeah, all 4 of them, right over there.
Oh.
The last one was actually seen doing it. About 3 years ago. He was seen running like all get out the edge of the cliff, and he was shouting and laughing and yelling as though there was people at his side running right along with him.
You kidding?
No, it's fact. He was laughing and yelling and running, and when he got to the edge, right over there, he jumped and never came above water.
As good an argument against cold baths as ever I've heard.
Since then, people just refuse to live in this house. Silly, I call it. Anyway, if you and Dr. Reed find any sign of a spook, I'll advise the owner to pull the house down and rebuild. But if you don't find anything, I'm hoping this will convince folks that here's a real buy. Okay, Mr. Smith, you and the doctor are on your own. I'll be by in the morning to pick you up around 11.
Goodbye, Miss McDonald. I hope there's something left for you to pick up in the morning. Well, it's almost pitch black, folks, and I guess Dr. Reed and I ought to begin. I don't believe in ghosts, never have, but what I say is this. If you're dead set on looking for them, this is a dandy place to do it. So long! Mr. McDonald just checked out. And then there were 2. Well, 3. Oh, my dog, yeah. Folks, I have my dog, Jeff, with me. He's a wire-haired terrier, 3 years of age, and he can talk. Yeah, say hello, Jeff. Come on, Jeff, say hello. Come on. Well, anyway, he's a wire-haired terrier, and he's 3 years old. Shall we go inside now, Dr. Reed?
I was about to suggest it.
Now, how do we hunt ghosts, Doctor? How do we do it, huh?
Well, we don't really hunt them. If there should be any in the house, they will come to us.
How cozy.
And please, not ghosts. Do not refer to them as ghosts. We know them as apparitions.
Now, remember, I've no desire to hurt their feelings. Where ghosts are concerned, I say live and let live. Well, we've opened the front door now. Maybe you heard the hinge squeak a little. Now we're standing here looking in. Can't see much. Smells sort of musty and damp. But... What's the matter, Jeff? What's the matter, boy? Jeff. Oh, come on now. Come on. My dog seems to object to entering this house. He has all 4 feet braced, and he's straining against the leash.
Perhaps he senses something we don't.
Like apparitions, maybe?
Perhaps. It's not unusual. Animals lack the veneer of sophistication we humans possess, and are more sensitive to such emanations.
Yeah, come on, Jeff. Now, stop this nonsense. He probably smells a mouse or a rat or something. Come on, Jeff. We're going in whether you like it or not. Well, there's a short entrance hall, and over there at the end of it is a flight of stairs leading to the 2nd floor. Jeff! And over here at the left is what seems to be a large reception room. We're entering this large room now. There are windows over there, French windows, and through them I can see the ocean. The electricity hasn't been turned on, so all I have to see by is a flashlight. Not a very powerful one at that. Dr. Reed is now adjusting his walkie-talkie. It's hooked up to my recorder so that he can cut in while he's hunting and tell us what he's found. Here's a few words from Doc before he sets forth on his investigation through the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. Mr. Smith has introduced me as a ghost hunter. He spoke, I think, in a spirit of skepticism and levity. I'd like to assure you all that my purposes here are serious. I have spent my entire life seeking reliable proof of the appearances of apparitions.
Have you ever seen any? Ever?
I have seen phenomena which lead me to believe in the possibility of their existence, although I have never seen any. I account myself sensitive to the evidence of their existence. This house, for example, affects me profoundly. It doesn't seem to affect you in the same way.
I'm not too happy about all this, if that's what you mean.
You are not psychic, and therefore not sensitive to these matters as I am. I imagine the question in the minds of those of you listening to us is, Shall we find apparitions? I don't know. But I feel they are here and that they are evil. I sense danger. I shall soon know.
Dr. Reed's leaving the room now to make a tour of the house. First thing I'm going to do is open the windows and let some fresh air in. Feels better already. Cooler anyway. I know that. Oh, it's a bat. A bat just flew into the room. I think it's a bat, not a bird. I didn't actually see it. Just its shadow as it fanned my face. There it is again. It touched me as it passed. Jeff, come back here. Jeff, you fool dog, come back here. Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed!
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. Ralph Edwards in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hello, snap out of it.
Huh? I'm reading a letter about the new wide gap Autolite resistor spark plugs, Hap.
Oh?
It's from Mrs. Clark Perry right here in Hollywood. She says our 1948 station wagon has given constant trouble. Finally, the garage man said all the difficulty was spark plugs, and he installed a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs. Now the car runs beautifully. The very first time my husband has been really pleased.
Well, smart garage man.
Smart people to take his advice. Hap, you know, as more and more people learn about wide gap Autolite resistor spark plugs and how they make an engine idle smoother, give better performance on leaner gas mixtures, actually save on gas, why then more people will replace old, worn-out, narrow gap spark plugs with sensational new wide gap Autolite resistor spark plugs.
Any more letters like that, Harlow?
Plenty, Hap, plenty. Why, here's another one from New York City.
Read it to me later, Harlow. We haven't time because here's Suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Ralph Edwards as Smiley Smith in Ghost Hunt, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Jeff, come back here. Jeff, you fool dog, come back here. Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed!
Reed speaking. What is it, Smith?
Jeff has run off. My dog, he jumped through the window and ran off.
Oh, so? I told you he said something about this house, didn't I?
Yeah, you want to come and see if you can determine what it was exactly that set him off?
Soon. I'm making my way slowly up the stairs toward the second floor now. I'm halfway up. I'll be down with you soon.
Folks, my dog's run away. You probably heard him howling. He jumped through the window and took off. Never did anything like that before. Frightened by the bat, I guess. Personally, alone here in this big room, I can understand how he must have felt. This isn't a cheerful spot by any means. I may not be psychic, but I sure have a feeling this house doesn't want us here.
Read again. Excuse me. I have something of great interest to report. I'm now standing in an alcove on the second floor trying to recover my breath. As I reached the head of the stairs, I felt what I think is a definite psychic manifestation. I felt suddenly as though I had been punched in the solar plexus. That's the only way I can describe it. At the same time, I began to perspire. My head is still swimming slightly, and I have difficulty in swallowing. My pulse rate is around 110 in a minute. The sense of evil is very strong. I feel very, what shall I say, profoundly depressed.
You want me up there?
No, I prefer to remain up here alone. The presence of a disbeliever such as you might interfere with my investigation.
Folks, I'd like you to get a picture of what it's like here. It's very quiet, for one thing. I've never been in such a quiet place. And it's pretty dark. No light except my flashlight. Tell you what, you go now and douse all the lights you have on. Go ahead, put out the lights, and that'll give you a clearer feeling of how it is here with me. Go ahead, put out the lights. Hey, did you hear that? Real estate agent told me I'd probably hear rats and mice in the walls. Well, I can certainly hear them now. Even you can hear them, I think. It's as though...
Dr. Reed speaking. I've been working my way toward the front room, the one directly above the one in which Mr. Smith is now. The vibrations have become stronger and more pronounced as I approach it. I think I am on the verge of an important discovery.
Important discovery. Did you get that? Now I can hear Dr. Reed moving about in the room above. I don't suppose you can. Have a try anyway, huh? Hear him? I hope he finishes his investigation soon, because, quite frankly, I'd like to get out of here. I can well imagine people becoming unhinged in this place. Right now, I find myself pretty jumpy. Not being very brave, am I? Being alone in this room down here, it does it. This darned old house, it's a very, the atmosphere, it's so very...
I wish only to make this hurried report before continuing with the investigation in this room. I have carefully sounded out all the parts in this room, and the emanations are most strong from what appears to be a closet, before which I am now standing. As soon as I open the door to this closet, I will have, I think, a thing of great interest to communicate. I find no key to the lock, and so I will attempt to remove the hinges with my penknife, and I will tell you what I find when I open it.
I'll tell you what it would cost to get me to open that door. In the basement at Fort... There's that bat again. It seems to like me the way it keeps... Each time it passes, it touches my face or my neck with its wings. They're smelly things, bats. I don't suppose they bathe very often, if at all. I wonder how... Get away, you bat! That bat'll be the death of me. Yeah, it's like a jingle, isn't it? Bat'll be the death of me, the death of me, the death of me, bat'll be the death of me. It isn't far from London. No, it isn't the way it goes. It's come down to Q in lilac time, in lilac time, in lilac time. Come down to Q in lilac time. It isn't far. I haven't thought of that since I was a kid in grammar school. Gee, I had a lonely childhood when you come right down to it. That's my affair, isn't it? Yes, it is. It certainly is.
I have succeeded in removing the hinges to the door, and I find inside it is not a closet, but much larger. It is, I think, a dressing room. I have not yet been inside, but I am about to enter.
What was I talking about? Bats. Well, the bat flying back and forth in this room. Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Dr. Reed must have knocked something over in the dressing room. A chair, yeah, a heavy chair by the sound of it. The chair, or whatever it was, must have fallen right over my head. That's the way it sounded. I can see a small stain forming right on the ceiling, right over my head. Something ran across my foot just a rat, I think it was. I've always hated rats. Most people do, of course. That stain up there bothers me. It's gotten so big so soon. I think I'll take a chance and bother Reed and ask him what it is. Dr. Reed. Reed, can you hear me? Are you all right? Hello? Well, he didn't answer. I think he's just a little bit deaf. I think so. What do you suppose he's found, huh? I'm afraid this is rather dull for you listeners. I'm not finding it so, of course. There. I heard him cough. Did you hear that cough? Hope he's all right. He got out of a sick bed to come here this evening, you know. He was gassed in the First World War, and this place is beginning to get on my nerves a wee bit. Just a teensy-weensy bit.
Reed, speaking.
Hello? He's switched off. That's the bad cough he's got. I feel so lonely. I've been alone so much in my life. Not so much now, of course, but when I was younger, I was alone so much of the time, you know, struggling to get ahead, living in a hall bedroom, wondering where my next meal was coming from. I get the blues just remembering it. Seem sad, young people having to spend so much time alone. Sad for old people, too, of course. I'm saying of course a lot. Of course I am. Hey, that stain on the ceiling, it's grown amazingly. It's actually beginning to drip. Form bubbles. They'll start dropping soon. Colored bubbles, they seem to be. Odd-shaped stain, like a body lying on its back with its arms stretched out. It's cheerful. Oh. I'll certainly advise Mr. McDonald to have this place pulled down. I'll go upstairs in a minute or two to see how Dr. Reed's making out. You know, listeners, I really believe I go completely crazy if I had to stay here much longer. Wears you down. That's exactly what it does. It wears you down. It's so close and musty in here. I feel sort of trapped. I don't know why I said that. That's what they call this place, you know, the death trap. There, what did I tell you? That stain started to drip drop. Drip drop. Drip drop. Drip drop. Drip. I'll catch the next one in my hand. Reed? Dr. Reed! I'm going upstairs now, listeners. I'm afraid something has happened to Dr. Reed. I'm not kidding now. This is on the level. Which room could it be now? Right? Left? No, right. This is it, I think. Evening, gentlemen. And madam? I'm so glad to see you. I was just aching to see somebody. Anybody. I've been so lonely down there. What have you done with the doctor, huh? I know he's been hurt. See the color of the bubble on my hand? What have you done with him?
Make way, please, gentlemen. Make way.
Well, this isn't the funniest darn thing. This can't be Dr. Reed lying here. He didn't have a red beard. Now, don't crowd me, gentlemen. Don't crowd me, please. Huh? You want me to go where with you? You want me to do what? Speak up, gentlemen. To the cliffs. Down to the cliffs? You mean right now? Well, all right, if you'll come with me. I don't want to be alone anymore. You will come with me? All of you? All four of you? You too, ma'am? Oh, good. Come on, then. To the cliff. To the cliff. To the cliff. To the...
He jumped over the cliff. He jumped over the cliff. MacDonald, he jumped over...
Mr. MacDonald, Mr. Thorpe, you may come in to see Dr. Reed now.
What? Uh-huh.
Dr. Reed is conscious. You may see him now.
Is he able to talk?
Just for a few minutes. In here.
Come in. Come in, gentlemen.
How are you, Dr. Reed?
We've been waiting to see you. Yes, and I must apologize, gentlemen. I had a most unfortunate accident. Hemorrhage.
Hemorrhage?
Yes. My lungs, you know. Now, gentlemen.
Hemorrhage?
Dr. Reed, what happened in that house? What happened to Smith? We've just been listening to a playback of the recordings you made out there. Smith? Well, isn't he with you?
We've just heard the recording, Dr. Reed. Smith jumped over the cliff. Into the ocean.
Oh, that poor boy.
Dr. Reed, will you please tell us what happened? From what we heard on the recording, there were ghosts in that house.
Ghosts? I didn't see any ghosts.
But Smith, what about him?
If he went over the cliff, it was fear that drove him over. But, gentlemen, I didn't see any ghosts. As for that unfortunate young man, who can say now what he saw or thought he saw?
Thank you, Ralph Edwards, for displaying your versatility by appearing as guest star on Suspense.
Say, Harold, that Edwards does everything. Hap. No does. Don't use that word on our Autolite show.
Oh, come now, Harlow. I can make you use that word, as you call it.
How?
Now, don't you say that Autolite resistor spark plugs make your car engine idle smoother?
Yes, but...
And your car gives better performance on leaner gas mixtures. Saves gas.
Sure does. I mean, does.
Aren't we devils?
Ralph, you tricked me. Well, anyhow, it does my heart good to tell people that Autolite resistor spark plugs are ignition engineered by Autolite, which makes more than 400 products for cars, trucks, airplanes, and boats in 28 plants from coast to coast. Autolite also makes complete electrical systems for many makes of America's finest cars. Batteries, spark plugs, generators, starting motors, spark plug wire, battery cable, coils, distributors. All ignition engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly because they're a perfect team. The lifeline of your car. So, folks, don't accept electrical parts that are supposed to be as good. Remember, you're right with Autolite.
And now here again is Ralph Edwards.
I want to thank Tony Leader and his great cast of actors for helping to make my appearance on Suspense a very pleasant consequence. Like all of you, I'm a great Suspense fan, and I'm looking forward to next week when radio's outstanding theater of thrills brings you Joseph Cotton in The Day I Died, another gripping study in
Suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was adapted for radio by Walter Newman from an original story by H.R. Wakefield with music composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. Make it a point to listen next Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Remember, next Thursday, same time, hear Joseph Cotton in The Day I Died.
You can buy Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite stay-full batteries, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
dark. Fantasy.
I am the spirit of the demon tree.
£3 on the Jack of Diamonds.
You should tear your money up, Humphreys. It would last you longer.
Perhaps you're right, Crane. But this way I get a sense of honest toil. I say, isn't anyone else betting?
Oh, let's quit. I'm tired of losing.
Oh, look here, old girl. Could I loan you a few pounds?
No, thank you, Crane. I have enough to get me back to London. If we ever do get back.
Now, why do you say that, Clara? It's only a matter of a stage getting through here to the resort and taking us out of this beastly place.
Beastly place is right. Why people come here for a rest is more than I can determine. Honestly, I've never spent such an uncomfortable week in all my life.
Well, think of me. I've been here 3. So have you, Humphreys.
Oh, look here, you two. It's 3 o'clock. And they're expecting the stage around 8 tonight. What do you say the 3 of us go for a bit of a walk through the forest?
I say, why not? Oh, here comes Danvers. Perhaps he'll join us.
Anything to get away from this place. Good afternoon, Danvers.
Greetings, good people. I take it you're no happier than when I left you a while ago.
Oh, the place is as gloomy as a morgue. We've just agreed to take a walk in the forest back of the inn. You're invited to come along if you like.
Sounds like a good enough way to pass the time.
Oh, good. And we all go together. Besides, I'm quite interested in that forest out there. You remember, of course, the story the night clerk told us last evening.
Yes, I don't like him. He talks through his nose. People should talk through their mouths.
No. I mean, what he told us about the forest.
What about the forest? I didn't hear it, Humphreys.
Well, the clerk said it was a gorgeous place. Lots of beautiful foliage, vivid colors, clear water lakes.
But nobody goes there. It's so beautiful.
That's just it, Clara. You see, people have gone there and never come back.
Rubbish. A lot of nonsense. Why, the clerk is just superstitious, that's all.
I am inclined to agree with you, Danvers. Why, he even told us an absurd story about a tree out there in that forest that's supposed to strangle people.
Strangle them? How?
Oh, I don't know. With its branches, I suppose. Just some absurd legend that people around here like to believe.
I believe it's more than just a legend, Crane.
Eh? And what makes you say that, old man?
Here. I talked to the clerk again later last night. He dug out this old newspaper clipping for me. Read it, Danvers, aloud.
Old is right. Almost illegible.
Well, read it.
It says, London, England, April 21st, 1857. It is reported that Sir Horace Wakefield, Earl of Dorset, was found strangled last night in Barlow Forest. His body was discovered entangled in the branches of a huge oak tree.
Oh.
Go on. Read the rest of it.
Earl's death recalls to mind the weird tale of the witch of Barlow Forest, who is said to have lived in the 16th century. An evil old hag who, upon having a falling out with Sir Thomas Holly Wakefield, cursed him and warned him that any of his descendants who entered Barlow Forest would surely perish.
Charming old girl, wasn't she?
No. Don't scoff until you've heard the rest of it.
Go on, Danvers.
She also added that any person or persons with the Wakefield descendant would also die. She is said to have planted an acorn smeared with her own blood. The acorn is supposed to have grown into a towering oak capable of moving about from place to place in Barlow Forest. Sir Horace is the 6th of the Wakefield line to have perished by strangulation in the forest.
Thomas Hurley Wakefield. I wonder.
You wonder what, Crane?
My mother's name was Wakefield. I was just wondering if she was related to Sir Thomas.
Oh, of course not, Crane. It's just a story.
What an extraordinary story, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Wouldn't do very well as a bedtime story, would it?
A demon tree. I wonder if we could find it.
Well, let's have a try, shall we?
I'm game.
Don't let anybody say I'm not.
Then let's go. Oh, Humphrey's going along. I say, Humphreys, are you daydreaming?
No, I was just thinking. Wouldn't it be odd if the whole thing were true? If we all went in there and didn't come back.
Well, do you gentlemen see any way we can get into that forest?
It's as dense as Father Time's beard. Doesn't seem to be an opening anywhere.
I think we can get in over here.
Oh, all right. Coming, Danvers.
There seems to be a footpath over here. Only one along this line of the forest. There, see?
Oh, yes, you're right. Come on, I'll lead. We'd better remember the way back. It'd be hard to get out of here if we didn't know where this opening is.
Don't worry, I'll remember it. I'm good at landmarks.
Go ahead, Clara. I'm right behind you.
I say, do any of you feel that?
Feel what, Danvers?
The chill. I feel like it's 20 degrees colder in this place.
I feel that way, too.
So do I.
No, it's naturally cooler in the woods where the sun doesn't shine.
But not this much cooler.
I don't like this place. I'm for going back to the inn.
Oh, let's get on ahead a little ways. I say, it is pretty in here.
Pretty or not, it gives me the creeps.
It isn't the kind of cold caused by climatic changes.
What was that, Denver?
I said it's a different kind of cold. It's the kind that creeps up your spine when some evil comes over you.
Oh, now, Danvers. You're just letting that newspaper story play on your mind.
Wait a minute, eh? Look! That tree there in front of us. It looks like a human giant.
Jove! You're right, Danvers.
I could swear it moved just a moment ago.
It did move. I saw it, too.
That's the strangest looking tree I ever saw. Look at that bark. I wonder if...
Crane! What's wrong, man?
I just touched the bark of that tree and it didn't feel like bark at all.
What?
No, it felt like human skin.
Here, let me feel it. By heaven, it's true. It does feel like skin. Warm and smooth and soft.
Yes. It feels that way to me, too.
Here, Humphreys, you touch it.
No, thanks.
Go ahead, Humphreys. Feel it.
I have no desire to. You see, I'm sure you're right.
What's that?
I feel that this is the demon tree of Barlow Forest.
Humphreys.
I think we've seen enough of this place, haven't we? Let's get back to the inn.
Yes, let's.
All right. Come on.
I say, wait a minute. Have you noticed how dark it is? All of a sudden.
The sun's behind a cloud, probably.
It's impossible to see the sky through this foliage.
It is darker. I can hardly see where I'm walking.
Are you quite sure this is the right way? I don't remember this clearing.
I don't either.
Wait a minute. By heaven, this isn't the way.
It must be. We're on the path, aren't we?
No. No, I don't think we are. It's so dark. Do any of you have a flash?
I certainly don't remember this clearing. I think... What was that?
What was what, Crane?
You'll think this is foolish, but I swear I felt the branch of a tree brush across my face and shoulder.
That's impossible. There's not a tree within 50 feet of us.
But I felt it, I tell you. It rustled like a branch covered with leaves, and yet it felt warm and soft, like human flesh.
Crane, are you sure?
Yes, look, we're lost here. It's dark as night, right in the middle of the afternoon. And we've lost the path and that tree.
Easy, Crane. Keep your head, man.
I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to stay here and be murdered. Crane!
Stay with us.
No. I'm going to find the path and get out of here.
Crane, stay here. We'll find a way back.
I don't want to stay here and die. I want to get away from this place.
Crane, don't be a fool. Crane!
Gone.
Now he is in for it. We're better off by staying together.
I don't know whether we are or not.
Listen.
It's Crane.
Sounds like he's strangling.
Come on.
Oh, he couldn't have gotten far.
Right over here, I think.
Now, take it easy now. Be careful.
Oh, there he is.
Yes. Stretched out on the ground. Like he was dead.
Look at him.
Oh.
Marks on his throat. Like hands would make.
That wasn't done by hands. See? Stains on his skin. Green stains.
Thomas Wakefield Crane.
Oh, what a horrible way for him to die.
Clara, that tree. This is where we first saw it. Now it's gone.
Humphreys, you're right. This is where it was. I'm sure of it.
Then what's happened to it?
The important question is, what are we going to do with Crane?
We'll have to leave him here till we can find a way out of this place.
Poor Crane. It happened so quickly. One minute he was with us, and the next...
We warned him not to leave us. Now, the three of us had better stay close together.
Oh, yes, for heaven's sakes, let's not get separated.
And do come on. There's nothing we can do for Crane now. We've got to find our way out of here.
It doesn't seem right leaving him there.
It's all we can do. Come on.
How do we know which way to go?
We don't. All we can do is keep moving and hope to find the path again.
Oh, it's horrible. Wandering about like this, like nothing but a group of marionettes.
Controlled by what strange puppeteer?
What's that, Humphreys?
I said, controlled by what strange puppeteer?
Humphreys, surely you don't think we've been purposely led into this?
Who can say?
Oh, now, Humphreys. Crane went off the deep end. We've got to keep our heads.
We found a way in. Surely we'll find a way out.
Yes. Yes, we did find a way in. But what about the chill? The darkness?
There's some explanation. Perhaps a storm is coming up. Yes, that could be it. Couldn't it?
Storms don't rise that quickly in this part of the country.
And the darkness. It came down on this forest like a shroud.
Yes. Came so quickly. Reminded me of how a corpse must feel in his coffin when the lid is put over him.
Look here, Humphreys. I'm about fed up with that sort of talk.
Only a fool refuses to face the facts, Danvers. You know this isn't any ordinary situation we're in. The chill of winter in the summertime, darkness in mid-afternoon, and a tree that strangles.
It was probably just an accident, Crane's death.
Why don't you stop trying to tell yourself that the tree was only an imaginary thing? We all know that it's real.
Humphreys.
And as alive as any of us. The bark did feel like human flesh.
Danvers. Humphreys. Look.
What is it? A glow of light there ahead of us.
It's the tree.
There. Now, what do you think, Danvers? Look. It's the tree moving along in a glow of phosphorescent light.
Good heavens. It's the same tree.
It looks like a human giant.
It was nowhere near here. It was back there.
Do you two see what the tree is carrying?
It's carrying Crane. It's got him tucked up under that huge branch that looks like a human arm.
It's fading now. Disappearing again.
Fading away. Yes. Gone. He's gone.
Now do you believe, Danvers? Now do you admit that the tree is alive?
What else can I believe? I don't know.
Danvers, look out!
He's fallen into a water pit.
Help! Humphrey! It's quicksand!
Humphrey, he's sinking.
Help! I'm into my waist! Get me out of here!
Stand still, Danvers. You just sink deeper.
Quick! Help me out of here! Get something I can get onto!
Here, Danvers.
Danvers, grab the end of that pole. Here, let me help, Humphrey.
Grab it, Danvers. Grab it.
The pole, Danvers. Grab the end. We'll pull you off.
I can't! That tree branch! It's eating me!
Good Lord. Listen, Clara.
A tree branch. But we can't see it.
I can't get near the pole. The branch keeps beating me back.
Humphreys, do something. He's up to his shoulders now.
I can't make it. I can't help. Save me! Save me!
No, he'll go under the quicksand and strangle.
Danvers, there's nothing I can do.
That tree! The demon tree! There's no escaping from it.
He's gone.
Poor devil. Didn't have a chance.
Humphreys, we've got to get out of here. We're all doomed. It's the Wakefield curse.
Clara, stop it.
It is the curse. We're helpless. There's nothing we can do to save ourselves.
Clara, stop it.
Humphreys.
Now, we can't give up. We've got to find a way out of this place. Follow me. Be careful where you step. And whatever happens, keep your head, Clara, for heaven's sake.
I'm so tired. We've walked for hours.
I say, it's getting a little lighter. Clara, up ahead there. Isn't that a path?
What? Oh, you're right, Humphreys. It's the path we came in on.
And look, there's an opening through the trees.
Yes, I remember the landmarks. Oh, thank God for the light.
Come on, Clara. Out of this place. There's nothing we can do for Danvers or Crane now. Clara.
Yes?
I wonder if you feel as I do. I thought we'd be safe back here in the hotel. I don't know how to describe it, but I have a feeling that this whole business isn't over yet.
I know. I've had the same feeling. A feeling that we're not finished with the demon tree.
Or that it's not finished with us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, my room. I'd better go in and have a drink, Clara. Heaven knows we need one.
Yes, I certainly do.
What's worrying me is how we're going to explain what happened to Craig and Danvers. Yeah, wait a minute. I'll get the light. There.
Humphreys, on the bed there.
Good Lord. The branch of a tree about 2 feet long.
Humphreys, don't touch it.
Look at it. Look at it. A fresh, living branch.
Put it down. Oh, Humphreys, I'm getting out of here.
Where are you going?
Down to the lobby and wait for the stage.
Oh, hold on. I'll go with you. Wait, Clara. Wait, it's 3 flights down. Let's take the elevator.
All right. We can get the thing up here.
It's automatic. Just push the button, it'll come up.
Humphreys, look. Someone left the steel gate open.
I say, that's dangerous.
It certainly is. Humphreys, that branch is pushing. Stop it! Humphreys!
Good Lord. Clara! Clara! That branch! It pushed her down the shaft. It's after me. Get away! Get away! Help me! Help me, somebody! The tree! The demon tree! It's choking me!
Any descendant of Sir Thomas Hurley Wakefield who enters Barlow Forest is doomed to die, and all who enter the forest with him are likewise doomed.
Dark fantasy.
You have just heard The Demon Tree, an original tale of dark fantasy by Scott Bishop. Tonight's cast included Eleanor Naylor Corrin as Clara, Ben Morris, who was Humphreys, Garland Moss took the part of Danvers, and Murillo Schofield was heard as Crane. Next Friday night at this time, the National Broadcasting Company will bring you another unusual and fantastic adventure thriller, Men Call Me Mad, the story of another world and the people who inhabit it. An exciting and weird tale of dark fantasy created by Scott Bishop. Dark fantasy originates in the studios of station WKY, Oklahoma City.
And now, the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the series of radio dramas dedicated to the supernatural, the unusual, and the unknown. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend to the world of the unknown and forbidden, down to the depths where the veil of time is lifted, and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to the tale of the Sea Phantom.
There was a terrible storm on this coast. The ship was heading for safer waters when through the storm they heard a woman calling for help. The captain ordered his men to rescue her. The ship heeled around and started towards her.
As they were getting close to her, suddenly the ship hit a submerged rock that tore open her hull. No one had a chance. For in a matter of minutes, the ship and all hands were lost.
In just a moment, the Hall of Fantasy will present The Sea Phantom. And now for our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Sea Phantom.
The house stands on one of two points of land that stretch out into the ocean, forming a small bay of the water and the shore between them. The tides rise and fall. The waves roll in inexorably. Sometimes the wind shrieks and howls in anger. On a calm day when the ocean is at peace with man and the soft sea breezes blowing off the water, there's no more beautiful spot in all the world. But when the sea is angry and the winds whip it into a raging fury and the sky is filled with black swirling clouds, then you would believe that you were in another world. And you would also believe the stories they tell. Don Fleming was an artist, and I, a writer. And through the years, we'd become good friends. Oftentimes, we would take trips together around the country, to Europe or South America. He to paint, I to write. And when we had finished with the day's work, well, we managed to have some pretty good times together. How we came to rent that house in Maine on the rocky coast of the Atlantic, I still don't know. But we did, and it was there the story I tell you begins.
Awful nice of you to come out here with us, Mr. Loman.
Well, I was coming out anyway. Got to see old Mrs. Green about some business, so I figured I might as well drive out with you fellas. Make sure you get settled nice and comfortable like.
Well, we appreciate it, Mr. Loman.
Oh, it ain't nothing at all. You're that writer fella, huh? That Larry Reardon?
Oh, that's right.
Read one of your stories in a magazine just the other day. Pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
What about you, young fella? What do you do?
I'm an artist.
Painter, eh?
Yes, he is. And a very good one.
Only thing I know about painting concerns houses and barns and boats. That's the only painting I ever done.
You're probably a lot better off.
I expect so. Well, here's the house. Better pull up. It's a beautiful house. Always come out here when I rent it to folks. Yeah. Here's the key.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you for driving me out here. I'll go on down to Mrs. Green's now. Drop in now and then, see how you're getting along.
Thanks, Mr. Loman.
And in case you see anything down in that bay, don't you worry none. It won't hurt you, as long as you leave it alone.
Both Don and I thought he was joking when he said that. He disappeared down the road, and we moved everything into the house. Ah, it was a beautiful old place, spacious and bright, standing like a lonely sentinel on the point overlooking the ocean. And in the days that followed, we were too busy to think about his words. Both Don and I seemed to be, well, inspired, if you'll allow me to use that. And his painting was almost half finished, while my story was well along the way. Not until a week after we arrived did we realize what was happening. It was late in the evening. We stood outside the house, looking down at the ocean.
Larry?
What?
Something's happening.
No? How do you mean?
My painting. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not painting it. It seems like someone or something is moving my hand. I make no conscious effort when I stand before that easel. Brush seems to be alive.
Well, that's what's been happening to me with my story. You know, usually I have to think and plot ahead for hours before I can write a word. But it's different with this story. Don, it's writing itself.
What's it about?
Oh, about a phantom ship that sails forever.
You haven't seen my canvas, have you?
Well, why?
Because that's what I'm painting. The phantom ship.
Strange coincidence, isn't it?
Yes. Listen.
I heard it.
It's a woman's voice, crying for help.
It came from somewhere down in that bay.
There's nothing down there, Larry.
I know.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who's that over there? It's Mr. Loman.
Oh.
Oh, and look, there's a woman with him.
I thought I'd drop in and say hello. How are you getting along?
Fine, Mr. Loman.
This is Mrs. Green. These are those two I was telling you about, Maud. Mr. Reardon and Mr. Fleming.
I'm pleased to meet you.
How do you do?
How are you getting along?
Oh, pretty well. Say, by the way, when you were coming up here, did you hear anyone calling from down in that bay?
No, not a thing.
It was a woman's voice. You didn't call, did you, Mrs. Green?
No.
Now, then we probably were mistaken.
No, you weren't. You heard something, all right.
You know who it was?
Yep. It was the girl.
What girl?
The girl on the ship.
But there's no ship down there.
Yes, but there will be.
What do you mean, woman?
You tell him, Maud.
All right, Simon. Well, it was almost 100 years ago, Mr. Fleming. There was a terrible storm on this coast. The ship, the Sea Mist, was forced into this bay. They were heading for shore when through the storm they heard a woman calling for help. The captain ordered his men to rescue her. They heeled around and started toward her. Then the ship hit a submerged rock that tore a gaping hole in her hull. Well, the Sea Mist went down in a matter of minutes, and all hands were lost.
But how could anyone...
It's true, believe me. Folks saw it on the shore. Saw the girl appear and the ship go down. No one knew where she came from.
But who was she?
Well, people said she was the captain's dead wife, the woman he murdered 20 years before, and that she'd vowed vengeance on all men. That's why I told you if you saw anything down that bay to pay no attention to it.
Oh, we haven't seen anything. We only heard her voice.
Now, you'll see the ship. Don't you worry about that.
The waves seem to be rolling in much stronger than they were before.
There it is again.
Yep. That's her, all right.
I can't see any... Wait a minute. Down there, Larry, see?
Sailing ship under full canvas.
The girl. She must be in trouble.
Why don't we go down there?
Right, there's a rowboat down there.
I wouldn't if I were you.
I'm going to see what's down there.
I'm telling you, don't go.
Come on, Don.
Right. Don't go, Cindy.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Sea Phantom.
Don and I went down the trail as fast as we could, even though it was steep and treacherous. As we neared the water, the spray from the breaking waves filled the air, and falling down on the rocks made it slippery and wet.
Those waves look pretty strong.
Yeah, but nothing to worry about, though.
All right. You ready with the oars?
Right.
Now shove us off, then.
Okay. The ship's still there?
Yeah.
Can you see anyone?
No.
Well, it shouldn't take us too long to get out to it. Then we'll see if anyone's aboard.
Seems to be quieting down.
Yeah. Can you make out a name?
Let me see. Says Sea Mist.
That's the one they told us about.
Yes, I know. Hey, watch it. We're getting close.
Well, we're here. I'll beach these oars.
Think I should try hailing it?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. Hello, Sea Mist. There's no answer.
Yeah, maybe they didn't hear you. Look, we pulled up right alongside this rope ladder. We might as well board her.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You know, Loman's crazy with that story of his about this being a phantom ship.
Well, it's the most solidly built ghost ship I've ever seen.
Say, you sure you tied our boat securely?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Up and over.
Yeah.
Want a hand, Don?
No, I can make it, Larry.
Anybody on board?
Wonder why no one answers.
I don't know.
There has to be someone aboard the ship. She couldn't have sailed into this bay by herself.
Of course not. And she's in such good condition. They must have built her recently. Probably for a celebration of some kind.
Well, there's one thing, Larry.
What?
Why should I paint a ship exactly like this, even to the name? And I hadn't even seen her. And why should you write about one?
I don't know. Look, you think we better take a look around?
I'm not sure it would be a good idea.
Well, we can't stand down here. Don.
Yeah?
Look up at the sails.
They're all unfurled. They're catching the wind. Where are you going?
Take a look over the side. There's no wake.
What?
Don, the sails are full, but there's no wake. The ship's not moving. Now, how can a ship be under full sail?
Where? Over there. On the captain's deck.
A skeleton lashed to the wheel.
Harry, that wasn't there when we first boarded the ship.
It could have been. We might not have seen it.
Maybe not, but I think we better get off this thing.
That's not a bad idea.
But you will join us when we come for you.
Larry.
Yes, I heard too.
There's something here with us.
But I can't see anything.
Nothing. Except a skeleton lashed to the wheel.
You will join us.
Let's get back to shore.
All right, let's go.
I hope our boat...
Don't worry, it's there. I can see it.
Maybe Lone was right. Maybe this is a phantom ship.
We will come for you.
We're coming, Lone.
Well, we were worried about you. We thought maybe you wouldn't come back.
What happened out there?
Yeah. What happened?
We boarded her.
And? What happened?
Well...
Listen.
She's calling to you again.
Let's go into the house.
Good idea. You shouldn't have gone out there.
We know that now.
Looks like it's going to blow up a storm.
Yeah, it's clouding over very badly.
We'll go into the front room.
I'll have to be leaving soon, Simon.
I'll take you back home, Ma. Don't worry. I'm just interested in finding out what happened.
What did happen out there?
Well, like Don said, we boarded the ship.
What was its name?
The Sea Mist.
That's the one, all right.
And then what happened?
Well, we looked over part of the main deck, but couldn't find anyone on board.
Did you go down inside?
No.
Good thing you didn't. You mightn't have come up.
We didn't see anyone by the wheel when we first boarded her, Oman. But suddenly, when we turned around, we saw a skeleton lashed to the wheel.
And then we heard a voice, a woman's, a whispering voice saying, "You will join us when we come for you."
Do you know what that means?
No.
I'll tell you then. Like I said, you shouldn't have gone out there. If you hadn't, nothing would have happened.
Well, nothing actually has happened yet. Just that we went out there, and while we were on board, we heard a voice.
That's just the beginning.
What do you mean?
What do you think she calls out for help for? She don't need help. She wants to get you out there, out to that ship. She's got her eyes set on one of you, or maybe both.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what I've heard. Now, mind you, I never saw it myself, and Maud hasn't either. But they say she's always looking for men for her crew. That she or the mate of the Sea Phantom will come to get you if ever you set foot on the ghost ship.
Loman, you can't mean what you're saying.
Oh, yes, I can. Like I said, I never saw it myself. But I've heard folks tell about it. And I've known men to disappear and never show up again. Remember what she said. You will join us when we come for you.
When we come for you.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Sea Phantom.
Outside, the weather was getting worse. The sound of the waves washing up against the rocky shore became louder. The wind became stronger. The four of us were in the front room of the house Don and I had rented. Simon Loman had just said,
"And I've known men to disappear and never show up again."
He's telling you the truth.
What should we do?
I wouldn't know what to suggest.
Well, we can leave.
No, that won't do you no good. She'll catch you sooner or later. If I was you, I'd stay right here. She's going to take one of you, or maybe both.
You'd better take me home, Simon.
All right, Maud.
I'm pleased to have met you, both of you.
Same here, Mrs. Green.
Let's go, Simon.
soon as I take her home, I'll come back. Maybe I can help you some way. Now, be careful.
What are we going to do, Larry?
Listen, Don, maybe he's only trying to scare us. To play a trick on the smart city slickers. We've only got his story to go on.
And the woman.
Well, maybe she was in on it.
Yeah, of course that's possible.
Look, someone could have been on that ship when we went out there. And they could have waited until we weren't looking, then gone out and lashed that thing to the wheel, and they could have hidden and called out the words we heard.
But why should they go to so much trouble to do anything like that? It's sort of a practical joke. It doesn't sound reasonable.
I know, but it's possible.
Yes, it's possible.
And I think that's just what they have done.
There is going to be a storm tonight.
Yeah, bad one.
I still can't believe that they'd go to all that trouble.
Look, haven't we done the same thing on occasion?
But we didn't go to such...
Of course we did. Now, forget it. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Loman didn't send someone else out here tonight to tell us that the woman was waiting for us.
It's starting to rain.
I wonder if Loman will be back tonight.
Well, he said he would.
I don't know. But I'm not so sure he will.
Listen.
Yes, I heard it.
This is a joke. Why don't they stop it?
Take it easy, Don.
How can I take it easy? I've had all of this I can take. There it is again.
Where are you going?
I'm going to take a look out the window.
You see anything?
No, Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
There's someone coming towards the door.
Well, it's probably Loman.
No, I don't think so. He couldn't have taken Mrs. Green down to her house and returned in so short a time.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Who is it, Larry? Who is that man coming towards the house?
I don't know. Unless they're carrying through that joke of theirs.
I hope you're right. I hope it is. Larry?
What?
His clothes.
What about them?
They're not modern. He's wearing clothing worn by sailors almost 100 years ago. He's at the door.
Okay, I'll let him in.
Yes?
I want to come in.
Why?
I've come for him.
For whom?
The man with the brush.
What are you talking about?
The crew was short one hand. That's why we put in here.
Look, I've had just about enough of this. This thing has gone too far. You go back and tell Loman to stop his little joke, or I'll stop it for him.
I came for the man with the brush. She said she wants him.
Get out of here.
But get out of here!
I want to get away from here, Larry.
I will leave tomorrow.
Tonight.
All right. We'll leave tonight. Come on, let's start packing.
No packing. We'll just leave. If we want anything here, we can come back when it's daylight.
All right.
He's back.
I warned him.
Here, let me in, quick.
Loman, I want to talk to you.
Sure. What about it?
Look, this thing has gone far enough. This joke of yours.
Huh? What joke?
Trying to frighten us with that hullabaloo about a ghost ship and then sending him out here.
Who?
That sailor in the costume.
Listen to me. I didn't send anyone here.
Look how stupid you think we are.
I don't know, but I didn't send anyone here.
Then who was he?
I don't know any more than you do.
Then that story you told us was true.
Every word of it.
I'm going to get out of here.
Don! He's running the wrong way. Going towards the edge of the cliff. We got to stop him. Don! Come back!
I'm leaving now.
You're running the wrong way.
He can't hear us.
We got to stop him.
Woman, there's someone else out there, too.
Woman.
Look out, Don!
It won't do you no good to look anymore.
Now, but Loman, he fell over the cliff. He should be down here on the rocks.
You won't find his body down here.
You saw him fall, so did I. And she went over with him.
That's right. We saw them both go over. But we're not going to find him down here. If we could only see out onto the bay now, you'd know what I mean.
Why?
She needed a man for her crew. She has him now. And the ship's gone and won't be back again. Till she needs someone else.
Welcome to the field.
So runs tonight's tale of the unusual, the terrifying, the unknown. Join us again when next we journey down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy to hear another strange tale of the supernatural. All characters and events portrayed in these programs are fictional, and any similarity to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
When death is defied, and evil rules, and those in your midst are Satan's tools, it's Nightfall. Welcome, dear friends. Frederick Hend here to guide you from a frightening beginning to a horrible end. As you may know, age can bring with it a tested wisdom, a sure knowledge guided by experience. In tonight's show, though, we meet two elderly people whose remembrance of things past has far too much to do with the hideous events of the present. The story is called After Sunset and was written for Nightfall by Edmonton writer Brian Taylor. I hope you can handle it.
Grandpa? Grandpa, what are you doing out here? It's 2:00 in the morning. Grandpa, please come back inside. You can't stand out here all night. You're ice cold.
Ellen, listen to me. Something happened a long time ago. Something terrible. It happened here in the Point, and there's no one who remembers it now but me. It had a feeling to it, Ellen. And tonight I felt it again.
What are you talking about, Grandpa?
You've got to promise me you won't leave the house after sunset. Lock the doors and windows and don't let anyone in, whoever it is. Don't trust anyone. Promise me.
Grandpa, you're scaring me.
Ellen, promise me.
All right. Now, let's go in now.
It's out there, Ellen, and it won't stop.
I want a curfew posted, Harvey. Now, you call up the radio station, the newspaper, and get some signs made. I want them posted all over town. 7 o'clock curfew.
Yes, sir. Chief, Mel told me about finding that boy. Said it was pretty bad. That right, Chief?
Yeah.
Boy, there's going to be some kind of panic when people find out about it. I mean, all torn up like that.
Look, just get that done, would you, Harvey?
Oh, yes, sir. Shouldn't you get some sleep, Chief? You look kind of, Yeah, uh-huh. Well, I'm on my way, Chief. Huh. Well, looks like Ellen Hartman's coming to see you. How do, Miss Hartman?
Harvey? George, could I talk to you?
Sure. Harvey, have you got something keeping you here?
No, sir.
You've got to come out to the house, George. He was staring into the dark, just standing on the porch all alone, staring.
Hey, slow down. Now, who, your grandpa?
He said something terrible was going to happen. And when I got him back into the house, he stared into my eyes and said, "Not you. Don't let it be you." George, I'm frightened.
Ellen, Ben is very old. Sometimes old people, they hear and see things that aren't there. But it is strange.
What's strange?
Well, there's no way he could have known, Ellen. But something did happen last night. The Roberts boy was killed.
Oh, my God, no.
Fact is, that boy had been ripped to pieces by some wild animal.
Wild animal? George, that can't be. There's not a wolf or a bear anywhere near here.
Well, something's out there, Ellen. Whatever it is, it's not human.
Grandpa? Grandpa, it's Ellen. You've got the door chained. Let me in, Grandpa.
All right. Just a minute. Inside, quickly. It's almost sunset.
Grandpa, this is stupid. I can't stand you staring into my eyes and locking the doors and windows and never going out. What's happening to you, Grandpa?
Ellen, you wouldn't understand.
Try me. Grandpa, a boy was killed last night. Tell me how you knew.
No.
Then I unlock all the doors and windows.
You are the most ornery, mean cuss I ever knew.
I wonder where I get it from. Grandpa, you brought the axe up from the cellar. This has gone too far.
Now, you leave it there. Don't open the door, Ellen.
Are you going to tell me why?
No.
All right. Yes?
I'd like to see Ben Hart.
Ellen, you close that door.
Grandpa, it's a lady.
I said you let no one in.
Ben, will you stop being a horse's ass and open this door?
Sounds like she knows you, Grandpa.
It's Madge, Ben. Will you let me in? It's nearly sunset.
Madge? Madge Brownlee? Pretty girl with red hair?
It's Madge Cortland now, and the hair's white. But it's the same one.
Well, I'm letting her in.
No, it could be her. She could be the one.
Mrs. Cortland? I'm Ellen Hartman. I'm sorry you had to wait.
That's all right, dear. I know the reason. Ben, I refuse to let you sulk. Look at my eyes. Oh, come on, you stubborn old fool. Look at my eyes. You see, I'm not the one. You do remember me, don't you?
Madge, you were so pretty then.
Well, everything changes, Ben.
I'd better put on some lights. And maybe now I can open some windows.
No, dear. I wouldn't do that.
You know, don't you, Madge? You can feel it, too.
Yes, that's why I came back. We've got to stop it this time.
Yeah.
Would someone like to tell me what you're talking about?
Your grandfather hasn't told you?
No. Apart from dragging the axe up here, he hasn't said a thing.
Then you've got to tell her.
I hear a boy was killed last night.
They think it was wild dogs.
Like the last time.
All right. All right. I want to hear it. I'm a prisoner in my own house, and I want to know why.
Well, dear, it started a long time ago when someone was killed by wild dogs, just like that boy last night. That's what we thought at first. No one could imagine what else could rip and tear like that. It had to be wild animals.
It always happened after sunset. People started dying. 9 of them, all torn apart. We finally shot every stray dog we saw. But it wasn't a dog. It was a quiet, gentle boy who delivered the mail.
Jimmy Pearson.
But why? Why did he kill them?
Well, dear, people said he'd gone crazy. He wasn't crazy. He just wasn't Jimmy anymore. Something was wearing Jimmy's body like an old suit of clothes. Something that looked out of his eyes and made sounds in his throat. But you could tell, whatever it was very old and wicked.
What happened to him?
We killed him. At least Bill Fraser, Doc's father, did. There were 4 of us when we trapped him in that field. We all shot at him. 11 bullets dug out of him later, but he still came raging at us until Bill Fraser cut him down with an axe.
Oh, my God.
Whatever was inside Jimmy left him, and he dropped like an empty sack. A sound came out of his throat that shook the ground, and every one of us felt something evil leave that place, like a cold wind.
And now you feel it again?
Whatever it is waits a long time, Ellen. Then one day it moves into someone. Maybe someone you know and trust. Ellen, dear, I'm terribly thirsty. I wonder if...
Oh, of course. I'm sorry.
I think we can offer our guests some of that brandy you don't let me drink, Ellen.
I'll get us all one.
You don't trust her yet, do you, Madge?
Now, Ben, don't get your hackles up. I don't get that feeling from Ellen. The feeling I got from Jimmy.
You were close, you and him.
Well, that's gone, Ben. But this thing, whatever it is still here. Mm-hmm. And it's inside someone now.
Shine on the harvest moon for me and my gal. Oh, boy, am I going to catch it. Drinking again, Sam? It's getting cold. Who's that? Come on now. Who's that in the shadows? Sam Collins out here. A little late to be walking in the park, isn't it? Breaking the curfew? Oh, it's you. What are you doing out here? Hey, your eyes look real funny. You feel something heavy pushing at you, or is it just me? Huh? What are you doing? Hey! Hey! No! No!
Morning, Chief.
Where the hell have you been, Harvey? This is the third morning you've been late this week.
Yeah, well, I had to stop off at Doc Fraser's to see if he'd done that autopsy on Sam, Chief. You told me to last night just after we found Sam in the park. Don't you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Has he finished?
Well, Doc said sometime this afternoon.
Any reports on stray dogs or wolves?
No, sir. And there ain't been a bear sighted in almost 10 years.
Then what is it? What's out there? Too dead and we don't know a damn thing. I'm going out to Ben Hartman's place. Ellen said he knew something.
Sir?
Yes?
Before you go to old Ben's place, he asked me to remind you about the Roberts boy's funeral this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Just, earning my pay, Chief.
On your way out, ask Molly to bring in some aspirin.
Oh, you, got a headache, Chief?
Yeah. Is something I can do for you, Harvey?
Oh, no, sir. I'm on my way.
I am more sorry than I can say, Mr. Roberts. Mrs. Roberts, would you excuse me? George.
Father Stone. Beautiful service.
There's an evil here, George. I can feel it. It grows stronger by the minute. Has anything been done about these terrible deaths?
All I can think of, Father. He was a good kid. He wanted to be a cop. Did you know that? Whatever killed him and Sam, I'm going to find it.
I can't leave the Roberts just now. I'd like to talk to you later.
Of course.
Goodbye, then.
Goodbye, Father.
George? Over here.
Oh, Doc. You finished Sam's autopsy?
Yes. George, get in the car. I don't want anyone else to hear this.
Can you drive out of here? I've had enough of graveyards for a while. Well, what did you find?
George, Sam wasn't killed by dogs or any other animal. I should have been more thorough with the Roberts boy, but I assumed that...
Dog, what did it?
The wounds on their bodies were made by human hands and teeth.
Are you sure?
George, I'm positive. We've got a madman somewhere in this town.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Whoever it is must be incredibly strong.
Well, that's not much help, Doc.
It's the best I can do right now. The killer can't stay hidden long.
Maybe only long enough to kill 3 or 4 more people. Doc, were either Sam or Mark cannibalized?
Now, that's an interesting point. Major organs had been torn out, bones splintered, muscle tissue massively damaged, but nothing taken away. Whoever it is doesn't feed on flesh. He feeds on fear and pain. George? George Cole. Wait a minute.
Oh, Ben, I was just on my way to see you. Now, where's Ellen?
Out somewhere doing her charity work. I hear Sam died last night.
Yes, he did. Doc just told me about his autopsy.
You know it's not wild animals now.
And so do you. How?
Could we go into your office? I feel kind of funny out here in the street.
Now, you're telling me that some evil spirit takes over a human body and kills for bloodlust?
It has happened before, George.
Check it. Back issues of the Mead Point Herald.
100 years ago, dear. A woman killed 11 people. Then 50 years ago, Jimmy Pearson went berserk.
Young boy. Imagine him wear clothes. Well, that's why she can feel it so strong.
No one will believe this.
No one did last time either.
And it could be anyone. How do you know it isn't me?
We don't, dear. If it were you, you could be suppressing the feeling, knowing that we can recognize it. Whatever this wicked thing is, it is clever.
So, madman or spirit, I'm still back where I started.
Well, there is one difference. A madman you can lock up or kill. Well, this thing keeps coming back. But I think Madge has a way to stop it.
Oh?
It's a very ancient ceremony, when people still believed in this sort of thing.
Exorcism?
No, dear. That simply drives the spirit out of the body. This ceremony isn't quite so nice. Do you mind if I don't tell you just yet?
You still think it might be me?
Hell, we don't know. But after sunset, where'll you be, George?
Look, Mel, we've been cruising this area for nearly an hour. Second shift for both of us. Like, we can pull into Sarah's Cafe for 5 minutes for coffee, huh?
Harvey, you had a coffee less than an hour ago.
Yeah, and I waited in the car for 15 minutes while you used Sarah's bathroom. You got a problem, Mel?
I just think we've been taking too many breaks tonight, Harvey. If George Cole ever found out...
George Cole doesn't know diddly squat about nothing. So don't worry. Jesus! You see that? Coming out of Murray's place?
Covered in blood and running like 60. He's heading for the fields, Harvey.
Yeah.
Hey! Hey! Stop! We're off fire! Harv, don't!
Jesus, Harv. You killed him.
He was running. Look at the blood on him. He must have killed Murray.
And him a doctor. You would never thought Doc Fraser would go crazy, would you? He looked just fine last time I saw him.
Well, all he looks is dead now. We better radio in.
It's enough to make
Calm
a man...
yourself, Ben.
You tell me where she is and I'll be calm. We've been back for an hour, Madge, and she's not back yet. And she's not going to come back.
Ben, dear, I haven't slapped a man in a long time, and I don't intend to start now.
Well, where is she? I phoned everybody and no one's seen her.
Grandpa? Mrs. Cortland?
Ellen?
I'll let her in.
You stupid girl. Where the hell were you?
Good to see you, too, Grandpa.
You didn't answer your grandfather, Ellen.
I waited for you, and it got dark, and I got scared by myself. I waved down a car and got a ride out to Millie's place.
What kind of help is Millie? She's half blind, half deaf, and wouldn't know you from a bedpost.
At least I wasn't alone.
How did you get back, dear?
I hitched another ride.
Jumping Judas, girl.
That was very foolish, my dear.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, George. What? You caught him? Just a second. Madge, Grandpa, they caught him. Who was it, George? Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, God, no. Yeah, I'll tell them. Night, George. Huh? It was Doc Fraser all the time. He came running out of Murray Thompson's house, all covered in blood. Harvey shot and killed him. When they went into the house, they found Murray all torn up.
Shot and killed him?
That's what George said. What's wrong?
You remember I told you how Doc's father killed Jimmy?
With an axe. And 11 bullets didn't kill him. Then it wasn't Doc.
No. This wicked thing is very clever. It wants us to think that there's no more danger. Dear, could you phone George back and ask him to come out here with all his men? Oh, and call Father Stone, too. We're going to need a lot of help.
All right, Madge. My men are posted around the house. I hope this isn't a waste of time.
It isn't, George. Mrs. Cortland explained it to me before you got here.
Father Stone is here for the same reason you are, George.
Doc Fraser didn't kill Murray or Sam or the Roberts boy. The killer's still around.
Are you sure?
I've thought about it a lot, and I realized it had to be someone who no one would notice. Someone people would trust.
Someone no one would suspect.
When the only motive is love of killing, you gotta look to who's got most opportunity. Right, George?
If you know, tell me.
According to Mrs. Cortland, it must be lured to her. It must think she is defenseless.
You're using yourself as bait?
Yes, dear. It has to come to me. It has to be done this way, and I'll not tell you who it is. You see, I haven't told anyone. I'm the only one who knows.
Well, what do you want me to do?
All of us go outside, except for Madge here. Now, you tell your men to fan out and search the grounds. We'll join them.
When this thing knows she's alone, it'll come back for her.
You have the instruments, Ben.
Yep, got them right here.
God help you.
I certainly hope he does, Father. You did come. I knew you would. Come in. Sit here beside me. That's better. Yes, you can always tell by the eyes. You need to kill again, don't you? But you want to enjoy it, stretch it out. So, have some wine while we wait. No? You don't trust me. Here, I'll have some, too. There, you see? That's right. Good, isn't it? You know, I didn't really know it was you. So I tricked you.
You're going to die, old woman.
Oh, we're all going to die, Harvey. I haven't been afraid of death for a long time, so it won't be much fun for you, I'm afraid. I had to lie to George to get you in here, you know.
He's a fool. He'll die, too.
Oh, but you don't die, do you? You simply discard bodies like old clothes.
Oh, but those bodies feel good, old woman. Very good. Jimmy Pearson felt good. He fit me like a glove.
Yes, you are wicked. You must have gone to Murray's house while your partner was in Sarah's cafe. You knocked out Dr. Fraser, killed Murray, and covered the doctor in his blood.
I'm going to enjoy killing you. It's going to be slow. My legs. I can't feel my legs. The wine.
Yes, I've poisoned Harvey's body. You can't move, can you? Neither can I. I knew you wouldn't trust me unless I drank some, too. The others don't know it's poison, or they wouldn't have let me do it. You see, I love Jimmy Pearson more than you could know. So I don't mind dying. Not with you dying, too.
You stupid woman. Once this body dies, I'll be free again.
Oh, the poison won't kill you right away. It takes time to kill a body that you're inside, like it did with Jimmy. 11 bullets. The mistake we made was finishing the job. You see, I've read all about you.
What do you mean?
If the body is pierced by steel, the spirit dies. That's from a very old book about you. Yes, it's true, isn't it? In a minute, they'll come back and pin your arms and legs to that chair with steel ice picks. And then they'll put one more through your heart and wall you up forever.
Is it time, Madge?
Yes, man. It's time.
Oh, my God. It's Harvey.
He hasn't been Harvey for some time. Harvey's already gone.
How could he do it?
Evil needs no reason, Ellen.
I'd like to be the first. You're never getting out of that chair, Harvey.
I want to be next.
It's your turn, Father.
For all the innocents you have killed, God forgive me.
Goodbye, Harvey.
Madge, you want to be the last one?
No, Ben. You do it for me.
Take him out to the old church, Madge, and wall him up there. You want to come?
No, Ben.
I'll be here when you get back. I'll always be here.
Unfortunately, doing the right thing can sometimes require a very great sacrifice. Here's who was involved in tonight's production.
After Sunset was written for Nightfall by Brian Taylor and featured Stu Carson as Ben, Nicole Evans as Ellen, Graham McPherson as Police Chief George Cole, Gordon Marriott as Harvey, Araby Lockhart as Madge, and Frank C. Turner as Doc Fraser. Walter Casa played Father Stone, and Blair Haynes played Sam and Mel. The sound engineer was Al Lambden, with sound effects by Eric Wagers and Dean Purvis. Production assistant, Barbara Galt. The script editor, Ruth Fraser. After Sunset was produced and directed in Edmonton by Laurie Seligman. Executive producer for the series, Don Kowalchuk.
Look in his eyes, like a madman. He wants to kill me. Someone does. Like the other three, lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Almost 12 o'clock. Midnight. Any minute now there'll be a ring. Or a knock.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Creeper. And now, Murder at Midnight. On this program, we bring you the best and most blood-curdling stories ever written. And so now we bring you a tale which you may have heard before. A tale which we consider a classic in terror and suspense. The Creeper, by Joseph Ruskall. In the kitchenette of a New York apartment, a man and his wife listened to the evening news broadcast.
New York. The unknown killer called the Creeper has struck again, adding a third female corpse to his toll.
Virginia Peters, a comely waitress, was found strangled to death in her third-floor apartment early this morning while her radio blared. As in the previous murders, a note was found scrawled on the wall with the victim's lipstick, and the plea, "For heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself." Police insist...
Now, why'd you turn it
Oh,
off?
how awful, how awful. And in this very neighborhood.
Let's hear the rest. It's very interesting.
Oh, you... Don't go turning that radio on again, Steve Grant. Heard enough. I'll go out of my mind, for heaven's sake.
That's it. A good, solid clue.
What is?
For heaven's sake. How many men ever use that expression?
Oh, shut up.
Okay, Mrs. Grant. Pass the biscuits, my little pigeon.
Pass the biscuits. Eat, eat, eat. 3 women in 3 days murdered in cold blood by a mad fiend right here in Washington Heights. I'm too sick to go out, too scared to stay in. The lock's broke. He sits there eating, eating, eating. Pass the biscuits.
There's nothing wrong with my appetite, my love.
Of course. That's what cost you your job on the police force. When I even think of
Some men drink to escape. I eat.
Escape what? What?
An ugly tongue, a beautiful face, and a roving eye. In short, a wife.
Oh, so you're starting that again. You and your crazy jealousy.
Yeah, maybe that's the creeper's way of escaping, too, Georgia. Who knows?
Shut up. Go ahead and get a divorce. Go ahead. Can I help it if men look at me? I don't know why you come home at all. Where do you go? What do you do with yourself? Where were you this morning? Why'd you come back?
To eat. But someday I'll lose my appetite for that, too. Yeah, and when I do, my dear, there'll be no escape. And now I'm off again. Kiss. Still using stage lipstick. Wipe it off. How many times must I tell you? You're married now, remember?
Steve, wait.
Yeah?
At least go buy my medicine.
Sorry, I got no time.
Don't leave me here alone. Stay home this evening. Please, I'm afraid.
Oh, don't be silly, pet. Nothing will happen to you. You got a doorman here, an elevator boy, Mrs. Stone across the hall, a phone. You're safe enough.
But the night lock, it doesn't work.
Oh, now you can't lock me out anymore.
It doesn't catch. Something's happened to it since last night. Steve.
Get a new one.
I can't get a locksmith. I've tried all day. Steve, please. If I want to phone you, where will you be?
Out. Goodbye. Take care of your cold.
Steve Grant.
Huh? Well, if it isn't old Pearly Chase, how are you?
Here you got thrown off the force, Steve.
Yeah, I hear you got thrown off the news, Pearly.
You heard wrong. I wasn't fired. I was just warned.
I wasn't fired either, just suspended for 3 days, eating a lamb chop at Casey's when I should have been ringing in from the box at 162nd with all that trouble up there. On my way to headquarters now for reinstatement. I eat too much, my trouble is.
I drink too much. Here you're living up at the Heights, Steve.
Yeah.
That's funny, me too.
Yeah?
Here you're married now to a beautiful and lovely young... with admiration.
Say it again.
I think I knew her. Wasn't her stage name Georgia Dixon?
Yeah, that's her. I love that wench, but... women. How does a guy handle them? You know, maybe the creeper has the right method.
Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. Who's the creeper, Steve? Any angles?
You tell me, and I'll split the reward with you. Say, what do you think of Inspector Bradley's inside job theory?
Nuts. Every janitor's a creeper? And as for that doorman, Jim Ellis, just because he worked at 2 of the 3 murder apartments? Pure coincidence. Anyway, they've released him. One thing, though, and I don't think even Bradley's put it together yet.
Eh?
In all 3 cases, just before the creeper struck, the door locks had already been tampered with.
You don't say.
You got a theory?
Well, sure. I mean, you take that note on the wall. For heaven's sake, in every case, for heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more.
I cannot control myself.
Right.
Oh.
Now, what man uses an expression like that? You want the lowdown? It's just this. A creeper is a woman.
A gimmick, huh?
Yeah.
Like the height of the message from the floor is a trick, 6 feet. And yet I'll lay odds the creeper's no more than a guy your height, say, or mine. 5'9", just like us, you or me. Only crazy.
Yeah? How do you figure that?
How do I figure lots of things? How do I know where the creeper's gonna strike next?
You do?
Certainly. The creeper's not so smart, he's just crazy. You play along crazy and you're one jump ahead of him. That's the trouble with Inspector Bradley. Why, he's up a tree. You expect logical clues from a madman? You play along crazy, make out you're the creeper. And what do you get?
Go ahead, let's see.
All right, the victims are all redheads, every one. You've noticed that, of course. 3 in 3 days?
Yeah, now that you mention
They
it.
all lived in the Heights, right? Agnes Martin, Jane Krutsky, Virginia Peters?
Right.
What was the number of the apartment in each case? Agnes lived in 1A, Jane 2B, Virginia 3C. Don't ask me the why or wherefore. Don't ask me the logic. Just play along crazy. See what I mean? Where's he going to strike next?
Huh? I don't get you.
The next victim of the creeper also lives in the Heights. She's a redhead. Her night lock's been tampered with. She's going to get hers today, and her apartment number's 4D. Well, why are you looking at me? Don't you like my arithmetic?
Pearlie, my wife's a redhead. We live in the Heights. And our apartment number is... You're just a boozy reporter.
Your apartment number?
4D, I told you.
4D, of course. It's pretty late, but I'll have it delivered. I was busy admiring your lipstick, Mrs. Grant. I've nothing like it in stock. 4D, I should have guessed it anyway.
Why?
Well, a face is a number. Believe me, since you've moved into the neighborhood, Mrs. Grant, for me it has a special number, like Double Dandy Delicious Dream. 4 Ds, you see?
Go on. Bet you tell that to every customer. Female.
I'm a ladies' man? Like the creeper? What did I say? What's going on in this block? Raw nerves, you can't joke. The creeper, that's all I hear all day. It's mass hysteria. There ain't such an animal.
You don't think so?
I assure you, Mrs. Grant, it's a fairy tale for circulation of the tabloids. I'll send your prescription up with the boy.
No, I'll just wait here for it.
Well, it'll take some time. You should go right home and stay there if you're just getting over the flu. I'll tell you what. I'll deliver it myself. It'll be a pleasure.
No. I'll wait. I may not go right back. I don't want to be there alone. I'm afraid.
Very well. Suit yourself. Have a seat. For heaven's sake, stop me before I kill more.
What?
I cannot control myself. Wait! I was only joking, Mrs. Grant. Wait, Mrs. Grant, your prescription.
Mrs. Stone.
Why, yes. What's your hurry, dear?
I just got such a scare since these awful murders in this neighborhood.
Yes, isn't it terrible? I'm simply frightened to death myself. You walking home?
Yeah, I guess so.
But I'll go with you. It's good we live in the same house.
At least if I had a double lock, but the night one doesn't work.
Oh, really? Well, I have a chain lock besides, and still...
The way it is, I sit and shiver when there's a sound at the door. Can't get a locksmith. Tried all day, but they're all so busy. Mr. Frank on the corner promised to, but didn't know when. Why are they all so busy?
Well, my dear, because every woman in the neighborhood's changing theirs, too. Simply a nightmare. Oh, but don't you worry. We'll stay together this evening. Mr. Stone's out, too. Think of it, we've never visited, though we live right across the hall from each other. Isn't that like a big city, for heaven's sake? Or would you rather I dropped in on you?
Well, I don't know.
Well, make it your place, then. Isn't it horrible, the ghastly things they're saying? The theories one doesn't know what to think next. You believe the latest?
The latest?
That maybe it's a woman, the creeper?
A woman?
Can you beat it? I just can't imagine how in the world the police figure that, for heaven's sakes. Can you? I say, can you, Miss Grant?
I don't know. I was just thinking of something my husband
Though
said.
I can see where a married woman now, if her husband was faithless, well, I can understand such a theory, because, take my husband now. You've met Mr. Stone, haven't you? Oh, Mrs. Grant, why on earth are you staring at me like that, for heaven's sake?
I don't feel well. I must get home. I feel faint.
But Mrs. Grant, for heaven's sake.
Sobbing with terror, a woman with red hair runs up the dark street. back to her apartment and the door with the broken lock as the hands of the clock move on towards 12 o'clock and... Murder at midnight. And now, back to Murder at Midnight and The Creeper. Back to Georgia Grant, hurrying hysterically through the dark streets towards the apartment with the broken lock on the door.
Good evening, ma'am. Out late, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, you're the new doorman?
Just relieving Charlie. Nice night.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Here, let me ring the elevator for you.
No, you don't have to trouble.
No trouble, ma'am. There. Apartment 4D, huh?
Yeah. How did you know?
Doesn't take long.
When will this elevator come?
Coming now. Terrible things, ma'am. The happenings.
What?
The creeper. It's sort of...
Going up?
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down. The ups and downs of life, that's me. I'm a living milkshake, Mrs. Grant. Uh-oh.
What's wrong, Jimmy?
Stuck. Imagine getting stuck between the third and fourth with a production like you.
Get going, Sonny. You want me to report you?
Okay. Can't you take a joke? Maybe I misconstrued that smile you always give me. Maybe you shouldn't ought to smile that way. Fourth floor?
Let me out.
If I drop in later, will you be more receptive?
Oh, home. Oh, thank goodness. Must be going out of my mind. Key. Where's my key? Darn this lock. Darn the lock. Hello. Is the locksmith in yet? Well, I want to know how soon I can get my lock changed. Yes, I know it's late, but he promised. This is Mrs. Grant. Yes, 4D, yes. I know you just explained to me, but I must...
Georgia?
Yes? Yes, so won't you
I've
please...
been waiting for you.
Don't you little fool. It's me. Do you want the whole house to...
It's better.
What are you doing here?
No, don't worry. You haven't got a thing to worry about now. I've come to protect you. Give me the phone. Hello? Never mind about the lock, thank you. Sit down. Make yourself at home. Been waiting here for you. Long time no see, Georgia.
What do you want, Pearlie?
Me? A headline. Your husband wants, too. He wants I should keep an eye on you.
What's that?
Sure. You didn't think Steve and I were acquainted, did you? Oh, yes. From way back. Just met him at a bar.
I don't believe you. What do you mean, keep an eye on me?
Oh, just in case the creep...
Oh.
You heard of the character?
You're mad. You've always been mad, Pearlie Chase. Where is Steve? Why should he send you here? Why should he think the creeper will come here? What are you doing here?
Told you. Playing along crazy. Got a drink?
You're drunk now. And you're getting right out of here. You're nothing but a no-good rummy.
And you're nothing but a no-good... You finish it. When I took the drink, it was to drown you out, and you know it. I'm still a rum pot, Angel, which means I haven't got rid of you yet.
Get out.
You little two-timing redhead. You're all the same, you redheads. Even a wedding ring can't change you. Oh, don't play the innocent. My business is snooping. I make a living at it between drinks. So your new motto's love thy neighbor, huh? Mr. Stone across the hall? Poor dumb Steve.
I'm warning you. Get out or I'll call the police.
Stay where you are.
Hurley, what are you doing with that gun?
I wouldn't pick up that phone if I were you. You see, there's a big reward for the creeper and a heck of an exclusive, and I don't want to share it. I'm riding a hunch. Now, sit down, darling. Just play along with me while I play along crazy. Sit down. That's it. Like we're expecting company. Let's have some music. Don't just sit. Let's have some music. I said turn on the radio. That's it. That's the good girl. Dance music. Let's dance. Give me your arm. Let's dance. Like old times. Around and around like my brain. Why are you trembling? I still love you, you little fool. Ask me why. I love you. I love you, you lovely redhead. I could kill you and you deserve it. With the radio on, you could scream and no one would hear. I could put my hand on your throat like this and I could strangle you. Why are you crying? Stop it. I'm here to protect you. Stop crying. Cut it, I say. Cut it out. I can't stand it. I never could. Okay. You want me to leave? All right, I will. It's your funeral. What am I saving you for anyway? Where's my hat? In a few minutes, there'll be a knock or a ring, or the door will just open. And you'll be lying in a pool of blood like the other three. Goodbye, my worthless. Give my regards to the creeper.
What if he comes back? He wants to kill me. Somebody wants to kill me. Must lie down. My head is splitting. Kind of frightened me. Jealous spite, that's it. Like the other three. In a pool of blood. Like the other three. Almost 12 o'clock. Any minute now there'll be a knock. Or a ring. Yes?
This is the doorman, Mrs. Grant.
Yes?
The druggist is here with a medicine. Shall I let him up?
A medicine? Yes, let it... No. Don't let that man up.
Want me to bring it up?
No. I'm perfectly all right. I don't need any... I don't need it, you hear? Don't you dare come up. Don't tell him. Oh, please, I must have it changed right away. My door lock. Yes, this is Mrs. Grant. Yes, I do want it. Of course, anyone can get in, anyone. They want to murder me, but I don't know who. It's the creeper. Oh, you'll come right away? Thank you. Thank you so much, but hurry, please hurry, or I'll go out of my mind. Oh, thank the Lord. Like the other three in a pool of blood. Any minute now, a knock or a ring. Who's there?
It's me, dear, Mrs. Stone.
Oh, what do you want?
I've been worried about you. Are you ill?
No, I'm all right, Mrs. Stone. I'm feeling fine.
Open up, dear. Don't you want me to keep you company?
No, thank you. I was just... Oh, stop that.
Do let me in, silly, and we'll...
No, please, go away. I'm going to sleep. Go away. You hear me? Go away. Hello.
Hello, George. Are you all right?
Oh, Steve. Steve, I've been frantic. so good to hear your voice. Where are you?
At headquarters. I'm coming right home. Sweetheart, is anything wrong? You said
No, not now. Not when I hear you, Steve. I don't know what came over me all day. I've been imagining things so silly. My nerves.
Sorry about supper tonight, honey. I wasn't myself. My job had me down, but now everything's
Oh, of course. Forgive me, Steve. I've been bad, wicked. Oh, darling, if you knew what I've gone through tonight, the most dreadful state. And then that... Steve, did you send someone here today?
Pearly Chase?
Then you did?
Yeah, to keep you company. Isn't he still with you?
No, I just got rid of him.
Oh, I wish you hadn't. He's an all right guy. Smart reporter. Lives in the neighborhood, too. Honey, it sounds cockeyed. I mean, Pearlie's theory, but I was kind of worried when I got to thinking, so... Listen, Georgia.
Yes.
Don't let anyone in the house till I get home.
No, I won't, Steve.
Not anyone, do you hear? Not anyone.
Oh, Steve, wait.
What?
Wait, Steve. It's, thank goodness at last now I can breathe easy. Darling, just a minute.
Georgia. Hello. Hello, Georgia.
Mr. Frank?
Mr. Frank.
Thank goodness you've come. Please, step in. It's the lock on this door. I want... Just a moment. My husband's on the phone.
Hear me, Georgia.
Steve?
Yeah, what happened? There was something else I wanted to tell you.
It's all right, darling. Everything's all right now, Steve. You needn't worry.
Didn't I just hear you talking to someone? Was that somebody at the door?
No, it's no one, dear. It's just Mr. Frank, the locksmith. What a load.
Georgia, listen, Georgia. That's what I was going to tell you.
What is...
The police are on a new trail. They think maybe you're a locksmith. Georgia, you listening? They think maybe the creeper's a locksmith. Get him out, quick.
What nice lipstick you
Georgia,
use,
you hear me?
Mrs. Graham. Yes. Very nice lipstick.
Georgia.
Very nice.
Can you hear me, Georgia? Georgia. Georgia. Hello, Georgia.
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Hurry. Catch me before I kill more. For heaven's sake.
Soft footsteps hurrying down the corridor, away from the door with the broken lock, now standing ajar. The body of a red-headed woman. And still, should she not have known that her only visitor would be death? When the clocks struck 12 for... Murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death knocks at the door, wearing a familiar face, and the clocks strike 12 for Murder at Midnight. The part of Georgia was played by Ann Shepard. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are alone in a world of decay and desolation, looking down on what was once a great city while coming slowly to meet you, her hand stretched out in greeting to you, is a beautiful girl whose very existence may be the cause of your death.
Listen now as Escape brings you Jack London's classic novel, The Scarlet Plague.
I am recording this only for myself, for my own sanity. Perhaps even from some age-old sense of duty. For I have not the slightest hope that it will ever be heard by any living human being. I was at one time a professor of English literature in the great university at San Francisco. Professor James Smith, a man who believed in reason and intellect, and who abhorred the instincts of animal nature. But that was before the terror and the madness of the Scarlet Plague. This morning I killed a sheep with my bare hands, then squatting on the ground, I tore a haunch from my prey and ate it raw. It began simply on a Monday morning, as I recall. I was having breakfast at the counter in the campus cafeteria with Bill Dombey of the physiology department. He was glancing over the front page of the morning paper.
I don't know why I do it, Jim.
Do what?
Buy a paper every morning. Nothing changes but the date. Senator so-and-so back in Washington after whirlwind tour, love nest killing in Omaha, view bomb test at any with talk schedule.
What's that item down at the bottom?
Where?
Down the corner. New York fight Scarlet Plague.
Some news reporter's pipe dream, I suppose. 9 persons have died since last evening of a strange malady which has left doctors at Manhattan hospitals admittedly baffled. The disease, if it is a disease, strikes without warning and slays its victim in less than an hour. Apparently, the first symptoms are a feeling of well-being and lightheadedness, accompanied by a slight rise in temperature. A few minutes later, a fiery red rash appears on the hands and face and spreads rapidly over the entire body. Within 10 to 30 minutes, the victim goes into coma and dies. Ridiculous. There's no disease that acts like that. It's food poisoning, something of that sort.
Please, Bill, I'm eating.
Medical authorities are unanimously agreed, however, that no general danger exists and that there is no cause for public concern or alarm, which is double talk, for we don't know what it is yet.
What about a mutation?
Mutation of what?
Well, how do I know? You're the physiologist.
Oh, you're talking about those scare stories, I suppose. Harmless virus or bacteria mutates and throws down some new deadly type. Antibiotics won't touch it. Medical science help us. 1 million people wiped out overnight.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
No, Jim, bacteria strains are always mutating. And usually the mutation is less harmful than the parent. That idea has been overworked for years. Pass the cream, please.
Oh. Bill? Is it a possibility or not?
Yes, it's a possibility. Hey, you're stalling, Jim. That rook's the only piece you can move, and you know it.
Don't rush me now. We still got the queen back here. Let's see.
And here is the latest development on the Scarlet Plague.
No,
the following
Plague.
statement was released a few minutes ago
I would move if I were you.
Bureau of Public Health. Up to this hour, the official death toll in greater New York is 321 persons. In Boston, 94. Washington, D.C., 111. Chicago, 181. Medical
Spreading like wildfire.
working around the clock. It is expected momentarily that the causative agent of the disease will be isolated and an effective treatment prescribed. Meanwhile, stay out of crowds, stay home, and stay calm. We return you now to Dance Time.
Turn it off, Jim.
How can it spread so fast?
It's hard to tell, not knowing the period of incubation, whether it's airborne, contagious by contact, how long it's contagious before the symptoms show up, not even knowing what it is, in fact. One thing's sure, though, something's got to be done fast.
I guess we can call ourselves lucky out here. There hasn't been a case reported in San Francisco.
No, not yet.
When all the breathers of this world are dead, you still shall live. Such virtue hath my pen, where breath most breathes, even in the mouths of men. Now, I did not choose this particular sonnet because of possible contemporary suitability, but because it does, I think, best keynote the transitional phase that later appears in the philosophies and the poetic... Is something wrong back there? Yes, what's the trouble, Miss Baxter?
It's the Scarlet Plague!
Now, wait. Morley, Everett, wait and give me a hand here. Miss Wilson.
Mr. Smith, look at my hands. My arms all red.
Now, Miss Wilson.
I feel so strange. Cold and numb. I'm dying. Everyone who gets it dies. I'm only 19 and I'm dying.
Yes.
When all breathers of this world are dead, you...
Now it's in San Francisco. I sat for a long time in the empty classroom, paralyzed by shock, by a strange fear I'd never felt before, the fear of the unknown. The girl had walked into my class smiling and talking, and now she lay dead at the back of the room. Why? How could it happen so suddenly? What had caused the plague? Where had the terror started? And where would it end? I went to the faculty club. Bill Dombey was listening to the latest report.
Reports from around the nation include the following figures. Greater New York, estimated 184,000 deaths. Philadelphia, estimated 150,000 deaths. St. Louis, estimated 83,000 deaths. Chicago, one moment, please. A bulletin has just been handed to me from London. The Scarlet Plague is raging in Europe. Unofficial reports from Russia estimate the death toll in Moscow at 180,000, with additional millions dead and dying throughout the Soviet Union and China. New bulletins will be broadcast whenever they are received for as long as our facilities last. And we...
No word of any cure yet?
Jim, I didn't hear you come in.
I just walked across the campus. It's completely deserted.
Yes. Guess the faculty club here is the only holdout. And at that, there are only four.
Four?
Counting you, Myra Blake of Graphic Arts. She went over to her room to pack some keepsakes. She'll be back. Dr. Barnes is out in the kitchen trying to rustle up something to drink.
Bill, that girl who died in my class a while ago, 1 minute she was all right, and a minute later she was dead.
Well, it's fast. That's one thing.
Can you get it from contact? I lifted her head. I put some books on her.
Nobody knows how you get it. I don't suppose contact matters much. It couldn't be all contact. Not millions of cases in less than 48 hours.
Well, why can't they find a cure? They've had 2 days now. What are they all doing?
Dying, Jim, like everybody else.
Dombey, Smith.
Oh, Dr. Barnes?
Here. Maybe this will help.
Scotch.
Why not? The whole case of it out there. I think it might be a good idea to keep that radio on.
Yes, you're probably right, Dr. Barnes. Technicians, engineers, they've died by thousands all over the country. How much longer can services like radio, telephone, transportation...
Ago. All conveyances, regardless of ownership or occupancy, are being stopped and turned back at Army control points. stay where you are. Do not attempt to travel. You are no safer in one place than in another. The plague is everywhere. Repeat, the plague
It won't
is
stop,
everywhere.
They'll still try to run.
Yes. Also reiterate
Anywhere,
the
just as
earlier
long as
statement,
it's
the
somewhere
Army
else.
has not mutinied. Repeat, the Army has not mutinied.
It must be getting rough out
Signed by
there.
Edmund C. Dover, Senate member and acting President of the United States, and by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In a bulletin just handed to me, Johns Hopkins regretfully states that Dr. Theodore von Zwickler, who had earlier announced partial success in identifying the causative agent of the plague, has just died. So Dr. Zwickler left no notes on his work. Hospital personnel continue to...
What happened to the lights? Power failure, I guess. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
There's a flashlight in that desk drawer.
I got it.
There is a portable radio with batteries in the game room.
Oh, let's leave it for the moment, Dr. Barnes.
Yes, the liquor sounds better than the news.
Well, in that case, wonder what's keeping Miss Blake. She was coming right back.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's that light coming from?
It's like a fire. Maybe we can see from the window.
Not one fire, 1,000 fires.
Down there, toward the bay. Berkeley, Oakland, and over in the city. Why? What started them?
Open!
Can't you hear why, Jim?
Gunfire.
Yes. They're not waiting for the plague to do the job.
No. They're already out in force. The looters, the maimers, the robbers, people with a hate and a grievance.
If it started already, it'll get a lot worse.
Oh, yes.
It'll get worse.
You are listening to The Scarlet Plague, tonight's presentation on Escape. Sunday afternoon, CBS Radio will bring you another of its successful on-the-scene reports gathered by its feature project team. This time, we'll take you to the United States wide-open back door, the Mexican border, the crossing point for 2 million illegal entrants last year alone. We call this report the Wetbacks, because that's what so many of these illegal entrants are called as they swim the Rio Grande into the United States. Hear the Wetbacks, Sunday on most of these same stations. And now, Escape, and the second act of The Scarlet Plague.
We stood at the window of the faculty club, looking out across the campus, down over the hills toward the bay, where fires lit up the growing night, and where even fiercer fires of greed and lust and hate burned in hearts that were beating their last hours or even seconds of life in this world. For a world was dying at our feet, and though we had so far been spared, we knew we too were dying with it.
Contact is still being maintained with Buenos Aires, and since London Overseas went silent a few minutes ago, this is now our only contact outside continental North America.
Makes you know you're
We are
alone.
at present able
Really
to
alone.
maintain
Yes,
contact
it
with
does.
only 2 stations in this country, Washington and Chicago. The West Coast has been silent for some 30 minutes, and we do not know whether we are being heard there at this time.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
At
A
the moment, we
crazy
are waiting
dream.
for word
It
from
can't be
Washington naming
happening.
the new President of the United States to replace Edmund C. Dover, who died on the Senate platform while attempting to conduct... What's the use?
Well, are we still agreed on leaving?
We must. If by some miracle we do survive, we'll be out of food here in 3 days. And tonight may be the last chance to find any. Probably looting every store in the Bay Area.
Grocery stores, liquor stores, jewelers, toy shops.
More the reason to get started now, then.
Right. If we can make 3 or 4 trips with the station wagon tonight, we ought to be set here for quite a while. What about those pistols, Dr. Barnes? You said there were a couple in the safe.
Yes, I'll get them.
Funny how things are changing. He was chancellor of this university. Now he's foraging for food.
Yes, well, I'll gas up the station wagon and get it over here so we can...
Is anybody here?
Well, Jim, turn that flashlight on the door.
Myra.
Jim, thank heaven you're still here.
Oh, Dr. Barnes was worried about you, Myra. He just went into the other room. I'll tell him you're here.
All right, Jim. I was afraid there might not be anybody here. I was hurrying to get back, and I caught my heel on the edge of the walk and fell. I think I hit my head.
Tripped and fell, the whole world dying, and you trip and fall.
I guess it is funny.
Myra? Bill.
What is it?
What's wrong?
Dr. Barnes is lying just outside. Dead.
Plague?
Yes. But he got the pistols.
Yeah. Thanks. Do you know how to use one of these, Jim?
In a general way. Well, we'd better get started, Bill. We shouldn't be too long, Myra.
You're not going to leave me here alone.
Oh, she's right, Jim. I wouldn't want to be left alone either.
All right. Let's go. We tried the Oakland docks first, the big food warehouses along the railroad tracks. It was a dead end. From a mile away, we could see the blaze towering into the night sky. The whole dock area was in flames. We swung the station wagon back onto the ramp and headed across the Bay Bridge toward the city itself, fighting our way in and out of the jumbled traffic and the terrified crowds on foot, turning and twisting among the dead and dying.
You've got to go back, Bill. This is getting worse every block.
Yeah, I know. Trying to get a chance to turn around.
There's an alley there by the hotel. Maybe you can edge in there.
We'll try anyway.
Look out, Bill!
Hey, watch who you're bumbling into.
Sorry?
I ain't taking a pushing around from nobody. Not anymore, you understand?
I told you.
That's on account of what I got. You take a look at a 45, wise guy.
Careful, Bill. He's drunk.
Look close, and you can see the bullet coming out. Watch that.
I bet he saw it all right. I bet he got a real good look at
He's crazy, Myra. Come on, hurry. We've got to get out of here.
What about the other man?
We'll leave the car. Come on, out this side. This way, Myra. The hotel entrance. Out of the way. One side. That's the door. All right, come on.
What can we do, Jim? They saw us come in. They'll be after us any second.
The stairway there, next to the elevators. Hurry, Myra. Maybe we can find a room, someplace to hide in case they come up the stairs.
Try that one, Jim.
All right.
Hey, look! They got more guests. Sorry. Go on in and live. That's what all of us are doing. Living while we're dying.
Hiding.
Go on in. We got plenty to eat, plenty to drink. 50 pounds of diamonds, tons of money, lots of women, and not a worry in the world.
Come on, Myra, let's go.
Go ahead. Come on, let me open another bottle.
Jim, where can we go?
Well, the hotel's about 12 or 14 stories high. The elevators aren't working. I doubt if anybody'd bother us on one of the top floors. They wouldn't have any reason to climb up there. You want to try it?
All right, Jim.
Let's go. For 5 days, we stayed on the top floor of the hotel, and no one came up to bother us. Twice, with pistol in hand, I left Myra in the room and slipped down into the streets to forage for food and supplies. Gradually, over the 3 days, I saw the mobs diminish, thin out, as the Scarlet Plague continued to rage unchecked. Then finally, on the morning of the 6th day, I brought Myra down from the room to see what had happened to the city.
There's not a person in sight, Jim. No one but us. Not another living soul as far as you can see.
Listen. There's not a sound.
A dead world. There must be others, Jim. Not just us. They're hiding. We'll take a car and drive and look for them. There must be others.
But she was wrong. We drove for 100 miles, all over the city and the countryside around it. And when we finally stopped on a hill above the bay, we knew that there was not another living soul in the whole city. We were the only human beings left alive in San Francisco. And most likely the only ones in the entire world.
But why, Jim? Why us and no one else?
I don't know why. I don't know why any of this. It's just too vast to begin to comprehend. But we're alive. That's the only thing that's certain. We're both alive. To be alone, to be the only living human in the world, would mean terror. Absolute terror and insanity.
I feel guilty somehow. Being alive when everyone else is dead.
There can't be any guilt when you don't have a choice. It was nothing we did. And besides, Myra, don't you see what it means? Since we've been spared, mankind itself has been spared, and civilization. We'll have children. We'll teach them. See that they remember and pass on the greatness of the past.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Together. Together we can do it. We can give mankind another chance. You and I, Myra. We can keep it from being lost forever. Together, everything's different. There's a new hope, something to live for and work for. And we...
What's wrong, Jim?
Myra.
What?
Your face. It's turning scarlet.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Scarlet Plague by Jack London, specially adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, starring Vic Perrin. Featured in the cast were Polly Bear, Virginia Gregg, and John Daner, with Eleanor Cannon, John Larch, Barney Phillips, and Sam Edwards. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week. You are standing in the bedroom of an English inn, the sound of revelry coming faintly up the stairs. While in the shadows across the room from you, the gun in his hand already aimed at you, is an enemy agent whose success depends upon your death. So listen next week when Escape brings you Ben Wright's story, Affair at Mandrake. Every Saturday evening at the Star's Address, enjoy William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. It's a drama of the frontier of America in the 1870s. Authentic, dramatic, and full of the lore that made the American cowboy a part of our national heritage. Remember Gunsmoke, Saturday night. Mr. Keene, Tracer of Lost Persons, is heard Friday nights on the CBS Radio Network.